If you're lying to me, I'll be back.
Who are you? Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
I want to thank you again for tuning in for another Gaming Grindhouse. This thing has been doing awesome. I want to thank everybody. The last video was almost at 1,000 views. I think we're like a 40 away. It's incredible. You guys, I appreciate all the support and everything that you've been doing. And yes, please like this video, share it out. We have a special guest tonight. I'm waiting for Frogs to drop in. He might drop in later, maybe a J-Dub. Chris said leave him alone, so Chris Righteous, shout out to him. He got his PlayStation 5, but I asked him if he wanted to talk about it. He said, leave me alone, and I will leave him alone. So, yeah, I hope he's enjoying his PlayStation 5, but we do have somebody else from the Saltiest Podcast, Mr. Salty himself. Yo, what's up, Salty? And welcome to the Salty Nation, right?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's good to be back on the Gaming Grindhouse. What's going on, Jez?
Yo, what's up, man? Yo, glad to have you. This is going to be, we got some topics today, and I know I'm going to get the complaints. The titles, I tried making the font look good, so please don't complain if you're looking at this on a 5-inch phone. Tell them Pee-wee. Tell them Pee-wee, Herman. Tell them right now.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Sorry about that. If you're using a 5-inch phone to see this, please bear with me with the technical difficulties and the size of the font. I tried to squeeze as much information, and a lot of stuff is just kind of news reminders and things like that. But first, before we get to the grinds board, let's find out, Salty, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing Destiny 2 because for some reason I was like, man, I looked at my trophies lists. I was like, what games am I close to platinums? And then guess what game I was only one trophy away was Destiny 2. I just had to do a Nightfall on master difficulty, but
Jeez.
That's easier said than done because you got to grind all the way up. So I bought the season pass. I didn't buy the actual extra content because I have that through Xbox Game Pass. But the problem with that is I went on my Xbox One X, and it's an abomination to go from the PlayStation 5, where it's running at like 4K 60, to like whatever it is on the
Xbox
like a
One 1080p.
X. It's like
yeah.
1080p 30, I think.
Yeah, and that what's weird? It did give me going back and forth. It is pretty jarring. I know a lot of people say it's not a big deal, but looking at that 4K UI and then looking at kind of those 1080p textures. The thing is, for me, I play on a projector. Like I got a 4K projector, so I even see the differential in the resolution of the UIs. Crazy. Like it would give me a headache. I'll be like, it'll look like blurry, and I'll have to fix my thing. But no, it is that low resolution is rough.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. It's actually been fun to get back into Destiny. It is kind of repetitive, but they've improved some things for me. Like I didn't spend any money really. I spent like $10 on the season pass, and then I went on my Xbox to get some of the content. I play through the expansion or whatever it's called.
I'll go strike
on my Xbox, and I was like, all right, I got it. And I played some I've been playing some Iron Banner and stuff. It's cool change. You know, it's kind of a dry spell in the gaming industry, right? Not much coming out until Returnal comes out. So just kind of biding my time. Hopefully I'll get that platinum done. But man, I have to get up to like 1325 light and find a team and stuff. But it's been fun. I've been playing that and Avengers, probably the other game that people don't like. Two looter games, right? I just played that with Wooly today for probably like 30 or 45 minutes, but I've been enjoying that because it has the Kate Bishop storyline, and then that goes into the Hawkeye storyline, and they're actually pretty good, man.
Yeah, I finished them both. They were pretty good.
And it's interesting how both characters, you would think because they both wear purple and they shoot bows and arrows, they'd be exactly the same, right? I was thinking that Kate Bishop was going to be just the female version of Hawkeye and they'd be the same, but they're not really, because Hawkeye has different skills. I actually like playing him more, not because he's male or anything. It's just because his skills are interesting. So I was playing him. There's not really a character in that game I don't like. The only problem with that game is it just gets really repetitive, you know, the mission style, the missions that you actually do. But if they had more of the story content, I feel like more people would be down with that game, you know. What is it? Black Panther is going to be the next DLC.
Yeah, like
content.
at the end of the year, though. Like I think at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's forever. It's taken forever for them to get the content out. They're doing that Red Room with what's her name? Black Widow.
For the movie. Yeah.
We'll see if that's actually good or not. But I just hope that they don't can the project like Anthem, you know? Like I hope they just keep adding on to it, because there's not enough superhero games out there, you know? There's like, what other superhero games that you could actually say, like MCU or Marvel or DC? Because
DC just has a fighting game, and then this has the Injustice 2, and then it has like the DC, it has Batman. Like that's about, you know, it's like that. I tell you, the thing is with the Avengers, they did a good job with the characters. Like I agree. Like I think that the characters, the combat, the skill trees, even the way they look, like and fight, like the combat's great. It's just that it's friggin' dry ass robots, and it's just kind of like after a while, it's like with all the villains that you have in the Marvel universe, you can't even have like raids going after like a boss or something like that. You just have same like defend these 3 areas, fight this boss, fight this spider robot, fight this robot that has rockets, fight this robot that has a shield, fight these robots with jets. And I'm like, oh my god! Even with the Hawkeye DLC, I beat both of them, and even the whole lead up. And I don't know if this is a spoiler or whatever. No, we know, but like the Hawkeye, the main guy is a Hulk, like you know that Majesco, whatever the hell his name is. But like that's the fight, and you're basically fighting the Hulk, like. And what pisses me off about this game is that you beat this stuff and you get nothing. You didn't even get the skin of the Hulk. His ass is 500 points in the store to buy. And I'm like, I just grinded through this story, about 8 missions or 5 missions or whatever. I beat the boss, and I just got some loot that basically doesn't change the way you look. It's just I hate that. I hate that the look, it doesn't change anything. And basically it's just like level up my loot, and you just hit the right trigger, and basically it just gives you the best loot for your different parts, and that's it. And your arrows don't change, or nothing changes. You don't get any special abilities. That's where Destiny, I think, did a better job. Well, at least your gun shoots differently. It has different reloads or different specs. This thing, basically, you're just adding to your kind of abilities. Like, you're basically just adding to your skill tree and make you more like, you know, attack-oriented and stuff. So, really, the loot has no kind of visual value or anything to the longevity of the game. It's just kind of just stat upgrades. And, but they do fight differently, though. You're right. Hawkeye, like, is much slower. He has cool, like, kind of, like, skills. And then she teleports and much more faster than he is.
Yeah, and I give him credit. So exactly what you're saying. Gameplay's fun. Characters are fun. It's just it's an empty shell, basically, is what they have. The mission structure, very repetitive, like the capture points and all that other stuff. The enemy variety types are very repetitive, and just like you said, like there's so many villains they could put in there, and they don't do it. I don't know if it's a licensing thing or what. Like I don't know what Square Enix had to do to pay to get that license, but I know it's expensive So like you got to imagine it takes forever for them to make these characters and make sure that they're different and they're like they all feel different and they fit in power wise, where they're not like one's not just super OP, so people just want to play that character. But yeah, like the loot doesn't change anything, because like in Destiny, if you get a chest piece, you put it on, your character actually has that chest piece on. Or if you get a cool looking helmet, you put it on and looks cool. It's part of the looter shooter aspect of why people like to grind, because they like to have cosmetic pieces they put on. And the problem with this game is they used to have this like battle pass looking thing for all the characters, where you would have
they got that away.
Specific cosmetics you can unlock if you grinded. They totally just took that out. And then they went to this model where if you want cosmetics, you're going to buy our microtransactions. So that sucks.
That's where all the cosmetics are basically microtransactions. Like, that's the thing. Like, oh shit, excuse me, I got like a feather or something in my mouth. Ugh, the hell's that? Oh, it was a bug. But anyway, yeah, like, I figured you beat this stuff, and really what you're doing is just you're doing a campaign with Hawkeye or with the girl Hawkeye, and basically you're just gaining their skills. Like, they start at skill 4 or something like that, and maybe they end at skill 11. Basically, exactly what they did in the campaign. You just kind of get your characters up to a certain skill where you could level them. And what's interesting is that they kind of give out skill points pretty like fast, that you could kind of like spec out your person fully, like almost on all the things. But then it's all about the loot, and that's where, again, these looter shooters, these loot things, the loot has to be an important point. And I feel like in here, with it holding no cosmetic value and really not changing anything, really just making you like better defensive, having a perk here or there, and then the variation, the lack of variation of enemies was just bad. But I beat it. It was all right. And the thing is that they're not coming out again. Another game thing with a service and a looter game is that if you don't have the content coming out consistently, they're gonna drop off. And they saw a huge bump with the Hawkeye stuff. And then you went through the campaign probably about an hour or two. I beat it, and now I'm done. Like, it's uninstalled, done, and thank you. I'll play it again when Black Panther comes out. But that's it. I have no interest in doing the missions at all. Like,
the weird thing is they the whole Spider-Man thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
They were pushing that hard before this game came out, because they purposely said, hey,
that's made me have interest in it, actually.
Spider-Man content, get that PlayStation version because it's exclusive. And then all of a sudden they pulled the rug out from under people, because people purposely picked that platform for Spider-Man. It was supposed to be out like right now or coming out now.
Yep.
And then they pushed it back to 2022.
I think it's at the end of this year. Maybe it's after Black Panther. So I think Black Panther will probably come out in November, October, and Spider-Man might come out December, or maybe near the movie or something like that. And I hope it's not no movie tie-in. I hope not.
I just feel like playing Spider-Man on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 in Insomniac Spider-Man kind of ruined the possibilities for them to use it, because with Hawkeye, he uses his bow to go from he slings up and stuff. I think Spider-Man will be similar to that, and he doesn't have free reign, and it's just gonna feel clunky compared to what you played on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. So I think they're in a no-win situation with that character.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like. It's just gonna come out, and people are gonna be like, "What is this what I'm saying? Like, what am I playing?"
And there's not a lot of verticality either to like really use Spider-Man, like the maps, like even the world that they built for Hawkeye, like that post-apocalyptic world, like it still was just very very bad level design, and the characters, like we got to stop fighting the robots, like you got to introduce new variations. Like that's the one thing that Destiny did, where at least they added different factions. And I'm not no huge Destiny lover. I really could care less about that. I played the campaign of Destiny 2 and one of the expansions, and that's about it. I lost track of what the hell was going on in that game. But I did like the story. Like, Bungie does know how to create a better story than the first one. The first one was garbage. And that's what this reminds me of. Because even the campaign missions are basically the same things as the other missions. Like, it's not like you're doing anything different. It's like, break these 3 areas and stuff like that. Even in these new expansions, your campaign is like, kill that spider bot, break these 3 areas. I'm like, wait a second, these seem like what the side grind missions are. Why is that your campaign mission? But yeah,
So
it's done. I'm done with it.
the weird thing about these games and stuff and like these superheroes with powers, I talked about this with Wooly. Can you imagine if like they weren't robots and stuff? Like sometimes you're hitting humans, but it's just like it doesn't work because you're like Hawkeye using that katana. You'd be cutting people's arms off and heads and
Yes,
stuff.
I know.
Like go or full rated R. Like so that it's I don't know how much Disney has to play into it because they own they own the MCU and stuff. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, you got to fight robots for and there can't be this or that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, people get tired of fighting robots. You know,
I agree,
So-
but that's why they should have probably be putting new Avengers in there. They could have put Vision in there. They could have put Wanda.
Yep.
Like they could have done Scarlet Witch. They could, and even if you just put them in there, you don't have to do a campaign, but just make them selectable characters and then have campaign expansion. See, that's what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to have like just be plugging in Avengers, considering how many people they could put in there. After we just came from the movies, so like Jesus, they that whole big end game fight. Look at all those people are Avengers. Like put them all in the game. You know what I mean? Like Doctor Strange, everybody.
Crystal Dynamics is really, really talented. They're up there, and like seeing the character designs sometimes, and then the way the game plays, it makes you want to have like a traditional single player game with like Thor, like the gameplay you have in the background, or like an Iron Man game where it's like straight up, like a PlayStation style game.
It's definitely
that would be cool.
The combat is definitely satisfying, and that's why I would love to see how they kind of do with other characters. And and then the fact that the next two characters they introduced were, that was the nice thing, going from Iron Man, going to Thor, going to the Hulk, they had variation, but you're going from Hawkeye to Hawkeye, and it's just like really, that's the two best back-to-back ones you had. Like you couldn't put like Vision or somebody who has maybe introduces a new capability, maybe like invisibility or something like that, and. I don't know. There's so much. Again, I feel like it's missed potential and lost potential, and I don't know if COVID really just took them out of it. But I don't feel that they they fully. Maybe you're right, is licensing stuff. But anyway, the Avengers, wait to Black Panther. I'm sure that will be good. They're gonna add like Wakanda and new enemies, they said, but that's gonna be coming later this year for this one. The stuff that I've been playing. Have you been playing anything else besides those two looter shooters things? Or anything else?
That's pretty much it, man. I've been rotating between those two.
Yeah, so what I've been doing, I've been playing Crash Bandicoot, Crash 4. I'm about halfway done with that. I think it's a great platformer. They did a great job with it. It does have the adaptive triggers, and some of the one of the special characters that you get does have some cool abilities that you could use the adaptive triggers. I've been playing the PlayStation 5 upgrade. But yeah, it looks great. You could tell the lower resolution of the cutscenes, though. Like, they're not as sharp as the gameplay ones, so it takes you out of it a little bit. Like, some of those cutscenes are a little bit lower resolution. And then, basically, I've been playing that because I've been trying to finish Sackboy. I think I need, like, another 2 orbs to get to the 4th level for Sackboy. So I've been all about the platformers right now, trying to kind of get through those. And then I beat the Avengers game, the 2 Hawkeye one. I already beat hers, and then I beat his. Just to kind of see what else, because it was a pretty interesting story when you were doing her missions and it tied right into his, and you're doing like the time jump and all that other stuff, and so I kind of see this. Like what the future, like how it's different, and the different enemies are your friends now, and things like that. Like it was interesting, but it kind of like just devolved from at the end, like when the gameplay did. But otherwise, I did buy a couple of other games. I was listening to King Thrash's podcast. Shout out to King Thrash, and actually Sick Humor's podcast. And he was saying about the Little Hope, and it's on sale for like $20. I really like those, like the Until Dawn. And I play the Man of Medan, and Little Hope I think is like $20 right now. So I'm gonna probably stream that or play that because I wanted like a horror game. I'm in the mood for like a horror game. And then I got that for $20. And then what else did I buy for? Oh, and then I got the what else I bought? I bought the what the hell is the other one? I bought some other cheap ass game just to kind of like, yeah, you're right. It's this holding period because right now I think next month at the end of April And in May and June is ridiculous. I think they just put all their games there because there's going to be no real E3. Everybody's just going to make their games just kind of dominate because there's no other, there's no kind of real E3, so people can release their games knowing that the gamers are all have their attention in June, I guess, and do that. But yeah, that's about.
What about?
Oh, God.
What about It Takes Two?
I haven't tried
that
that
up
yet. No, I didn't get that yet. I was thinking about it. I get it for $35 because I have the EA Play. So I thought about doing that. It's just that it looks interesting, but again, I'm kind of like doing the other two platforms right now, and I don't want to start another platformer, especially a co-op one. But definitely, I'm interested in that because I want to check that out. Because I thought that game had a really cool aesthetic and it looks pretty cool. And I'm even trying to see if I can maybe get my wife to maybe play the controls. I know that she played a bunch of Astrobot when that came out. When she's only playing that thing, she played like a whole level. I couldn't get the control away from her. But maybe she might want to play that. We could do that as a as a bonding thing. It's like a husband and wife bonding game. Like maybe I heard it's pretty funny though. Like just to kind of do stuff here and there. Charge my credit card $20 for Nintendo Online. You son of a bitch! They didn't even warn me. You didn't even give me a warning, and they got me for a year. I got called Mario.
They didn't even take you on a date. They didn't even take you on a date.
No, man, they didn't. And it was sucks because I signed up for it during the pandemic because my son wanted he wanted to take the Pokemon. He wanted to do his he was all about online fighting games, and he was playing and he wanted to like fight people online. He was tired about playing the computer. He wanted to do that, and he wanted to play Smash online. So I signed him up for the year. It was like a year ago. I'll sign him up for everything in March of last year with the pandemic. I was like, every subscription. I'm like, sign up. We're stuck in the house. God damn it, everything. Sign up for everything. And now it's all shit's renewing now. So like Nintendo got me, man. But yeah, and he got Animal Crossing. We're playing Animal Crossing for a little bit. It was awesome. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like it does have that kind of pull, but again, I just can't like when I'm playing that, I'm like, this is interesting, but I'm like, I should be playing something else. And it's one of those games where it's like I'm sitting here watching this guy fish, and I'm like, I could be doing this, I could be playing that, and I'm thinking about what I could be playing by doing Animal Crossing. It is a time waster. That's why it's great for portable. Like when you have like nothing to do, like you just open up your village. I still think a guy moved in. I didn't even set him up though. I think he's gonna be like a friggin' homeless guy because I told my son, I was like, you wanted to do this thing, you abandoned the goddamn village. It's probably gonna be all weeds. You're gonna have to pick weeds for like 30 minutes. That your island's all trash. I'm like, you can't just abandon your island. He goes, he thinks it's funny. He goes, I'm like, no, it's not funny. You should want to create like a freaking dollar bill, the horror like Goodwill goddamn place. Like, you don't give a shit. He's like, he just wanted to catch fish and put them in the aquarium. That's all he wanted to do. He could give a shit about anybody else. But anyway, but yeah, I didn't know Monster Hunter. I'm not. No, I don't buy those kind of games for the Switch, dude. I buy like Nintendo games, like that's probably it. Like the next, I really don't buy Nintendo games. Like I don't. Like I bought like Mario Kart, the Smash Brothers, the Pokemon.
Did you get Luigi's Mansion 3?
No, I didn't. I did not get it.
Try it, man.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
I should get that. But yeah,
that's a good game to play with your kid too.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's just
they have this thing where you can turn into Gooigi, and then it's like a co-op thing.
That's cool. You want to know a sin of mine? I never played the original Luigi's Mansion, and I had a GameCube, and I never played the first one. Yeah, I know. I'm a horrible Nintendo fan. I was like, I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I did not play. I didn't, for some reason, I was not into the Luigi's Mansion, and I never even had it for GameCube. It sucks. I'm not in. Yep.
Your team Mario, then, huh?
Yeah, what the thing is that's the thing. Like I like all like I feel like everything else is bootleg. I'm like, don't give me the stunt double. I want Mario or bust. I don't need the stunt doubles, the girlfriends, the princesses, the toads. Yeah. No, but I do jam with Kirby though. Kirby is the shit. That Kirby game, I do like sucking up dudes and friggin' spitting them out and getting different powers and shit. Pause. Sucking up dudes.
Pause. He's like,
pause.
Sucking up dudes.
Enough from
That's it. Yeah, Jim Ryan, say something.
Yoshi's my dude, man. I saw a funny TikTok. I'll have to put it up on my Twitter, dude. Where he's like, this guy's like, Yoshi, you're my favorite, and then it like cuts to the other, and there's these guys like smashing. What is that spicy green stuff you put on sushi?
Wasabi.
What's Wasabi, dude. I gotta post that video. It's so funny, man. My God.
But anyway, we're gonna with that and wasabi and rubbing all over people's bodies and stuff like that. We're gonna go to the grinds board because we got a lot of topics. So anyway, let me hit the transition to the grinds board. All right, I'm gonna get yelled at too because I'm sure people are gonna be like, "What the hell am I reading?" But here we go. Where is my grinds board video? Oh my God, is this it? That it? Man, we're having bad technical difficulties tonight. There it is. Hold the phone to the grinds board. Let's go. Yo, Portal Forever does say, here's the grinds board. Portal Forever says, do y'all like Donkey Kong? You want to know what? I forgot. Donkey Kong is my boy. I use him in every kind of game. Mario Kart, I'm always Donkey Kong. Mario Kart, Smash, he is my character that I go to. But I'm talking about like games for characters. Like I played Donkey Kong, but even Donkey Kong Freeze. Like I just, for some reason, I want to play the big games from Nintendo, and and you know, the amount of money those games are ridiculous. And again, I try to find that I have so many frigging games. It's insane. Like I don't even I feel guilty buying more and more and more. Or even subscribing, as we're going to talk about, having all the games at these potential games. But the Switch is really, you know, it's kind of the backup console. But anyway, but it's a good console. It's a good one. Clip that. Nobody clip that, Saber. Stop starting any kind of craziness in the Grindhouse. No craziness in the Grindhouse. I do want to shout out to the couple of grinders that were waiting in the beginning, though, before we get into the grinds board. Sam Ash, Dylan, Salty, you were here in the beginning, too. Wendigo, The Game Night, Jamal. I don't know if I'm going to shout out the Saber Zero who wants to clip that. Pause. That is pretty funny, though. Oh, anyway, Nick, what's up? And Mog, and Neil, and Saints. And who else is that? Who's that? I can't even figure. Senduindo, Tom, and Jamal, and the Crew 1985 is here. The biggest Xbox fan. He's here. Aziz, it's up. Let's-go. How you guys doing? Shout out to all the grinders out there. Hit that like button. Share it out. We're at the grinds board. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the most important topic of the evening. More Xbox controllers. God damn it. I know that there's a lime green ectoplasm one and then an orange one, I think. And then I saw Greenbergs. Did you see Greenbergs?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I tell you, man, they love those freaking controllers, man.
Yeah, what's up with that? They just make a lot of money off of it, or what?
Accessories you make a lot of money on, but yeah, I'm gonna show some videos of it, or some photos of it. But like, yeah, you make a lot of money on them, but like, I just don't. The thing is that they make a control for everything. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, I know it's a limited, like the cool controls, the controls that people want to buy. My problem is that they make them part of a contest. Like, instead they give you lime green for sale for $70 or $60, but all the cool ones that they make for games, actually, like, oh, a controller based off of a game, oh, that's a contest and limited run. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, why aren't those for sale? You know, because, like, you know, Greenberg, let me see where Greenberg is. Like, these controls, like, they're pretty cool, but all the controls they make are for, like, the good ones. If you're going to do a goddamn control, make one about a game. Don't give me, like Royal Blue, some horse shit like that. But here it is. We got this one. Where's my display? So, like, these are part of a contest. And it's, like, limited, you know. It ends April. Again, a retweet and all that other stuff. But, like, I remember even going to PAX and, like, seeing a wall of controls. And I got some really cool-looking ones, like custom ones based off of games. And oh no, take a picture of them and retweet it out. We'll do a random pick later on at PAX. And I'm like, you don't sell these, but you'll sell like you'll sell this green ass one. Where the hell is it? This is the one that's out. So they're not selling those, but they're selling these guys. Where is it? See, here's Greenberg's little video. Ooh, and you get the Sea of Thieves case, I guess. There's those battery covers. But more controls, dude. Doom. The Fallout one's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, the ones they
Evil
showed
Within
off,
one's cool.
the Bethesda ones, I didn't see any really that were like really cool looking to me.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
like the Evil Within one with the barbed wire on it. That would have been cool if it's like textured for grip. That would be pretty cool, but it's not. It's just a laser on there. But the thing is like, I'm just saying the cool ones that they have, it would be nice if they made those available to purchase rather than just giving people like, here's red, here's blue. I'm trying to find where the hell the new ones they just announced. But they love their goddamn controls, man.
I know you were like a collector of headsets, right? You like
Yeah.
the
I get a whole
lot
bunch of headsets, yeah.
Is that the same with controllers for you? or
No,
is it
I don't
different?
buy
Like,
headsets because they look. I buy headsets for features or if it's better
Yeah.
sounding and stuff like that. I don't. Yeah, I don't just collect like headsets.
I just
like,
don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand where you put all these controllers because like some of these Xbox dudes take pictures of their controllers and like it's like a bed full of
They're
controllers.
like the
you know? Like,
sneakers. You know how you have like
what's
the
the po-
sneakers?
yeah, I know. It's like, what's the point, man? I mean, these things are pricey, and like,
They are.
you're not going to be using them all. They're just going to be in like a case somewhere. I don't know. I don't get it.
Guapzilla, yo, what's up, Guapzilla? He says all multiplats. Yeah, right. Oh man, yeah. Here are the ones that. So these are the ones that they sell, right? So these are the ones that they're selling, and they're selling some like again like army. Like here's this lime green one and this red camo one, and the Day Strike camo and Electric Volt. But meanwhile, the ones about any games, they don't sell those. I just think it's such a missed opportunity there. If you're gonna make controls, make them about a goddamn game. Don't give me like Electric Volt and Day Strike camo. Like I don't understand that, especially the amount of controls they come out. And oh my God, I didn't even realize this article. Microsoft will use post-consumer recycled resins for the first time in Xbox hardware, so they're made of trash. Am I reading this article right on Windows Central?
No way.
The new Xbox controllers are trash. No, literally, they're made of trash. Like, what the fuck?
They feel like trash.
I didn't
dude.
even mean to. They do, man. What the fuck? I didn't even mean to click on. I just wanted to show an image and a picture. I didn't even realize what the title said. They're really made of recycled trash. Phil Spencer, Dollar Bill Phil is flexing again, man. Phil is flexing
Bro,
again.
I need that link.
Dude, I'll send you the link. It's
Yeah,
on
drop it
Windows
in the
Central.
Discord.
Jesus, my God.
Bro, I think it's just an excuse to have trashy controllers, dude. You know, hey, we're saving the environment.
Yeah,
saving the environment, dude.
they're like all those controllers that they had. I didn't even trust me. I was just looking at the image, and then I'm reading it. It says they're made out of trash, and I'm like, what the hell?
The new Xbox controllers are trash. That's funny.
I didn't. This Goodwill Phil, man, he's making sure that hey, all those Xbox controllers that's why they're giving you Electric Volt. They're just putting lipstick on a pig. They're like, let's just take this trash and just paint it different colors. Oh my God, I didn't even realize. Oh my God, that's pretty damn funny. That was not my intent, but that is damn funny. Yeah, they made it trash. Good job, Microsoft.
Did you see that lawnmower simulator? Like, what is going on with that?
That
shit?
actually is. I think that's one of Phil's favorite games because he's also known as Phil the Lawnmower Man Spencer, where it seems that in all of the games that had grass on the PlayStation version, Xbox seems to be lacking the grass or trees or the foliage in their version until it's patched in. So Phil the Lawnmower Man Spencer definitely likes to play that game. So that Lawnmower game is one of Phil's favorite games. He's really looking forward to it. But I
can't believe it. I thought it was a joke, but I guess it's like
it's the lawnmower game. It's the lawnmower game, and it's like that's exactly what happened. Remember, that's what happened in Dirt 5 when they had the 120 frame version. Not only did they lose the crowd, but they lost all the grass and the foliage, and like for some reason the PlayStation 5 had it.
Why would you want to play a game of like the most mundane bullshit chores that you'd never want to do in real life, but you'd play it in a game? Like, I don't get it, dude.
That's Dollar Bill Phil, I guess. I don't know what the hell. That's
the
what
Game Pass special.
Oh, here's the picture of the freaking controls. Here they are. Found them. There you are. Electric Volt and camo red whatever. Now with a new and improved share button. You know, I tell you, going back between the two controllers, these controllers are cheaply made. They make so much noise. They're flappy. Like you do the PlayStation controller, like I have it right here. You go like it is nice muffled sound, nice. Like because and especially because there's probably a microphone in it. You know, they don't want it to make a lot of noise. But I tell you, going to that Xbox controller, it definitely feels smaller in the hand. Like I feel it's good. It feels good, but it just seems it can make so much friggin' noise, like clickety clackety. The buttons are so clickety and clackety. You can even hear like when people are streaming or something like that, you'll hear the controller. It seems so. It's like the PlayStation controllers feels very premium. It's interesting because the PlayStation DualSense to me feels like a better Elite quality. Like when you grab it, that's how like you feel when you grab the Elite control before it breaks on you. And you know, but that's kind of feeling where this one is like dollar bill fill ones. And I think you could still make your own console like controls too. But anyway, more controls for Xbox. You know, they make controls for everything to celebrate Bethesda's games. And no one interesting too. One thing that I noticed on that is that on that Aaron Greenberg box, just something to point out. It says Bethesda and it says Xbox Game Pass. Is not even Xbox anymore? Like it's not Bethesda and Xbox. It's just Bethesda and Xbox Game Pass. So I just noticed that on his box, the box here. So yeah, see. Bethesda. I guess because those games came to Game Pass and they have to make controls to celebrate that. Here's the lawn game. So is this an exclusive? This lawnmower game? This wasn't on the thing, but like, the hell is this thing?
That'd be funny if it was. Man.
Yo, see why don't they make like a Phil Spencer skin to ride the lawnmower, and then you could act like he's making everything 120 frames by getting rid of the grass because for some reason Xbox can't handle foliage. I don't know, but here it is, the lawnmower thing. I wonder if you could do mulching and if you could do mulch and do some hardscaping and maybe plant a couple of flowers, or do you just ride this thing around and cut grass? It'd be nice if I could like put some mulch down.
Most boring shit ever, dude.
Yo, they look at this. They line up these freaking lawnmowers like they're goddamn racing cars. That's hilarious.
Like an intense trailer, dude.
Yeah, it's like they line them up and they're like, "Hey, oh man, it is sting. I guess, man. Yeah, man. Where's my Phil Spencer line about quality?"
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games.
Yeah, you don't want to play Returnal. You want to play Lawn Mowing Simulator, right? This summer.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, Lawn Mowing Simulator. Congrats. Rocking the Game Pass. Shout out to everybody. So we're gonna go back to the grinds board. No more controllers. No more things. Outriders as a note. News thing. Outriders coming to Game Pass on April 1st. I'm sure to see tons of screenshots. Talk about how it's Game of the Year, and it will be on April 1st because it is going straight to Game Pass. An excellent move by Phil and friends. I think it's great that they're doing this. Let's make it a habit, and let's see if it works. But I wasn't a fan of the game. I know, Salty, you liked it. I didn't like the game. I did not like it.
I don't know, like, because I was really turned off from the beginning. Like, the first hour of that game was just horrendous.
The characters look horrible.
Like, character designs, the story was generic. And then you get to the point where you actually get your skills. And the gameplay is, like, almost exactly like Gears, you know?
Yes, I felt like it was a Gears bootleg.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I think a lot of the people that worked on this game came from Gears Judgment, is what I heard. So
yes. Well, it's the People Can Fly, and they made Gears Judgment. People Can Fly. Yeah, so they made that, and they made Bulletstorm. If you remember that
game. My GameShare buddy wants to get this game. So there's nothing really else coming out, and I feel like it's a game that is not going to have that long of a lifespan, to be honest, and that's why it's in Game Pass. But you know, if I have to pay $30 to split it with my GameShare buddy, and I get probably a week out of it or 2 weeks of playing it, and I get bored of it, so be it, right? Because Returnal is not coming out until April 30th, I believe. So you have that whole month.
Yeah. I know April's again dry. Yeah. April's looks pretty damn dry too. Like if you're not into Outriders, like April's, and then there's baseball. I think that's at the end of April. So like
Yeah.
April's looking a bit dry as well. Like it's not too much
Big
stuff
time.
going on. So like if it's Outriders for the month, so I think. But like I said before, I think Outriders is coming at a great time because everybody's kind of looking for that spring game to kind of like multiplayer game. And maybe that will be one of the ones that kind of gets a couple attraction. I think it's a great release for Game Pass because a lot of people, people liked the demo, some people didn't like the demo, and it's just kind of hit that kind of middle of the road type. You either love it or you don't like it or you're not sure about it. And like I said, one of the benefits of a game like that is that you don't have to buy it and then kind of go on to the cap sale and be like, dude, and convince all your friends, buy it so I have somebody to play with. But you don't tell them that because you don't want to make it look desperate. So you kind of go, no, man, it's really cool to get some cool powers. And you do this. It's like Gears of War, though. It's like Gears of War. But then it's like Destiny. And you kind of give that kind of friend sales pitch to kind of sucker your friend into buying $60 a game. But you just want somebody to play with. But you won't tell them that, though, because you don't want to, blow your cover. So you're just like, yo, man, check this out, yo. You hide behind cover, just like Gears. And then there's some special abilities. We'll play forever, man. We'll be playing this thing into Christmas time. Yo, man, really? Should I buy it? Yeah, it's $60. Ooh, I don't know, but it's on Game Pass. It's like, oh, okay. Well, how much is that? And then you get them on the Game Pass, and then everybody gets it. See, so that's where it's good for Game Pass. You don't have to do to kind of buy it and then feel like you're a sucker, and then kind of put on the face and try to sell it to your friends so you have somebody to play with because it's boring as hell by yourself. So we all know that. As gamers, we all know that stuff, and that's always the question mark. Where it's like, do I buy this game, but then my friends are gonna play? Am I still gonna be playing it? With Game Pass, you don't have to worry about it. Thank you, Dollar Bill Phil. Thank you, Goodwill Phil. Thank you, Phil Ness. That's what the power of Game Pass is with these uncertain games. Perfect. Perfect for Game Pass.
What do you think Metacritic's going to be for this thing?
My Metacritic score, I'll tell you, my score is this game is definitely falling along lines of a good 69. A 7. So I think it looks like every character is randomly generated. I don't know. That's the way it looks to me. But I feel like the combat's pretty good. I think the combat's pretty good. I hear the loot is pretty good. And it's not one of those service games like a Avengers game or anything like that. So and exactly, who is that? Aziza? Yeah. The thing is that it's generic, and that's the thing. I don't feel like. The story seems pretty damn cool. I think the story about this whole, trying to find new place. I said the story is basically Wall-E. If you're familiar with Wall-E, where, we shit up our planet. We all got onto these big-ass things to try to find the new planet to inhabit. So basically, Outriders is Wall-E. They land on a new planet, but then shit goes awry and people get powers and stuff. The story is pretty cool. But I'm not into. I just can't get into it with the characters. I'm just looking at them. I'm like, this guy looks like somebody from the creative character, and I'm just not into it. And then doing the combat, I'm like, Gears does it better. I know it has powers, but just for me, that's why I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun with friends, 7s, maybe less, but I don't know. I think
it'll be 60s, dude.
You think it's gonna go that low? Yeah.
It's because looters in general have a hard time with Metacritic, and this thing's pretty generic. I think the gameplay is good, but the story's not. I don't know, man. Maybe the story gets better. I think Neverland in the chat's pretty. Yeah, 69, 67.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Around I think it'll probably get some 8s, and sure some Xbox websites are gonna push it for 9s, because now they're gonna consider it an exclusive, even though it's in the past. I know what else I noticed too is speaking of services for April. Oddworld is releasing in April, and they said that's going to be part of PlayStation Plus, so that's probably next month's PS5 game is the Oddworld game.
It is.
So that will be that. I don't know what the other ones are. I'm going to be interested to see what Sony does to kind of, knowing that Microsoft has that Outrider thing in April, which they might ride, and see if Sony kind of puts forth a thing, or if Sony takes a break. I don't know. But, the thing is that it'll be interesting to see the battle of the services if Sony acknowledges this Outriders thing. Because it is, I think the move, I'm more excited about the move and what that could mean for Game Pass stuff. If that's really what Game Pass is, then I might be more interested in Game Pass. Because for me, Game Pass is about the new stuff, because that's the draw for me. I don't subscribe and I'm going to pay that much a month to play games that I played on release or anything that I own. For me, Game Pass's value is the new stuff and day and date stuff, and not necessarily the new indie games, more of the new big games that I was promised that Game Pass was going to deliver. And again, that's going to fall on Microsoft's first party, or if they grab a couple of third-party games, big games, and they kind of make this a recurring thing. Because remember, they made a big ruffle. They ruffled a lot of feathers when they did Devil May Cry 5. And, when that came out, like 3 months later, I was like, whoa, Devil May Cry 5 in Game Pass. Wow. Like, Microsoft making some moves. And apparently they paid a lot of money because Capcom got some money dropped and they were rumoring that that was associated with it. But we never really seen a move like that. And that was like 2 years ago in like 2019 with Devil May Cry 5 showing up in Game Pass like 3 months later. And they never made like a cadence like that. Like, hey, every 3 months, a big game. And even last year, they really didn't have a game to kind of fill in the gap of Halo that they tried to get. They really didn't do anything last year as well to try to get those games. So maybe this year, like I said on your show on Thursday, I think a lot of this move right now is kind of like a big push to try to get some more subscribers to wrap up March for their quarter. And I think, they probably, because remember, they only grew about 3 million during the biggest quarter of the year where they announced Game Pass on Android phones, had Game Pass on, had EA Play join and sold two brand new consoles for the generation. With that kind of growth, you would think Game Pass would have blew up, and it only increased 3 million when the previous quarter increased 5 million because of the pandemic. So, I don't know if they're going to hit another 3 million and stuff, but, I would think for the biggest quarter ever in December, when a lot of things are happening and a lot of movements going on, usually when people spend the most, you would think Game Pass would have been like a bigger number than 3 million. So maybe they're not, and I think in January and February and March, that's usually like a kind of fallout of the previous year, because after the holiday, you have the fallout. Maybe this is like basically a jump start to try to get some more people to jump on the Bethesda thing as well. Trying to get people on Game Pass, get those numbers up. So is it a one-trick pony, or is it actually they're going to try to make this a recurring thing? We will see. Yo, what's up, Sinister? How you doing? But anyway, speaking of financials, I'm trying to bring this up. Sony is predicted financials. They're saying now, and again, I'm not no grinding business guru, and I really don't care about the profit, about the money, but 7.5 million consoles they're expecting to have sold. And that's the big thing. 10 billion in profit and 7.5 million consoles. That's what they're predicting. Do you think they're going to announce 7.5 million consoles? Do you think they hit below that, or do you think they even hit above that?
I think 7.5 is a pretty solid guess, and I think it's just based off of just lack of inventory,
Mm-hmm.
It is picking up. Have you noticed a lot more people getting their PlayStation 5s online on Twitter? Yeah.
Not me, though. I've tried. Chris got him. Still leave him alone.
Chris got hit. Who else got there? I've just been seeing, because I follow a lot of PlayStation people.
Yeah.
So I've just been seeing a lot of people just tweet and retweet about getting their PlayStations. And then I think the scalper price is dropping as well. So, but I think that they're not. It's kind of a steady figure. I think might go a little bit over it, but the projections for it are insane. If you look at like analysts from Japan and stuff like that, there's some that are like way going crazy about it. But yeah. I just imagine when there's supply, right?
I know.
When there's actual consoles on the store shelves, like that seems like a weird thing right now. Like, can you remember when we actually had consoles on store shelves, or like you could actually get them at I know they wouldn't be on the shelves, but when you could actually pick them up at the store and they'd have supply.
I know.
Like, it's just like a foreign concept now,
It would be crazy. Like, that's the other thing I think that's hurting a lot of, because the thing is too, is that you have to do this, kind of order and pick up at the stores, because it's even weird when I'm trying to get one, and it's really like with the, the Best Buy and stuff, it like shows you that it might be in your local store, but you got to like order it online to go pick it up. And who knows, like, if people are not at the store already and like see them, or if they're not allowed to buy them that way, like the whole kind of like it's on store shelves, you just walk in and go, oh, there it is, let me buy it. that kind of impulsive buy is like now it's kind of like you can't just be casually walking through a store and just pick one up. You have to know when they're dropping online and then go try to get it, then go pick it up. So like it really breaks the kind of flow of a natural consumer just kind of walking around the gaming section and trying to grab the new console or lining up and doing all that stuff. Like this online stuff, it's really weird. Even Best Buy, like you click add to cart and then you get it in the cart, but then you hit purchase and it's like, nope.
Yeah. Yep. That's
you know,
what happens.
You know, hey, what's up, Link? How you doing, man?
What's up?
Are you trying to look for one?
Look for what? PlayStation?
Yeah.
No, I had two of them. I have two pre-ordered. I had one
nice.
through Walmart and one through Amazon. Actually, the crazy thing about it was I only paid for one of them.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, don't tell me about it.
Walmart's, I pre-ordered the Series X, which I don't even know why I did that. But I pre-ordered the Series X and the PlayStation through Walmart. And the Series X, I got it a week before launch day. So I had my Series X before a lot of people. And they never charged my credit card. And it even said on the website that it was still shipping was still pending. You know, like my order hadn't shipped, but I had the console.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
The PlayStation actually shipped on, you know, it didn't ship early, but they didn't charge me for that one either. So I literally got one PS5 and a Series X from Walmart, and they did not charge my credit cards for either item. So
damn,
I got
lucky ducky.
I got lucky. Now the one from Amazon, they did charge me. So the one I got for free, I just ended up selling it. I think I sold it for like $1,100.
Holy crap, man!
I turned around and sold it like the next week. Yeah, I sold it like the next week.
Damn, you finessed everybody. Holy crap!
Yep, I sure did.
Damn, yeah, I pre-ordered mine from Target and from Amazon. I got mine too, but like, you know, I know somebody that like wants one, and they're kind of. I felt kind of like a douche, but I was like, it was my son's Christmas present, and I had my own Christmas present. Like, you know, that was my plan. It was my plan, and it worked out. And when people walked in, they're like, "You got two? Where's my Arnold soundboard? There it is." They walked into my house and they go, "He got two! He got two!" Yeah. They walk in my house and do the Arnold.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people. Like, there's a guy I work with who's been trying to get one, but he's waiting for them to like. He wants to take his PS4 to the GameStop and trade it in when they actually have the console in stock. And I said, man, good luck, because I don't see that happening anytime soon.
All right, but I tell you, it's somebody. Nick says, who said it? I think Nick was like, you use the apps. So apparently there's the apps where it kind of tells you. Because I switched my Twitter to new tweets rather than like popular tweets. So like I would get them like as soon as they post them, so I could check it. And I had it in the cart. It's just the systems suck. The way these, I'm so surprised, like Best Buy and Walmart's and Targets, they really did not evolve their systems for such a thing. I think one of the most popular places to get them actually is the Sony queue, where Sony...
The PlayStation Direct?
Yeah, the PlayStation Direct, which I tell you, every time somebody says a PlayStation Direct, I think it's a goddamn news conference. I'm like, where's the news conference? They're like, no, not a PlayStation Direct, a Sony Direct. I'm like... Oh shit! Like I thought it was a news conference, like Sony Direct. I'm like, oh, news conference. State of play. Let's go.
I was lucky. I was able to get one. So, yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. But yeah, I know. Oh wait, somebody wants a Arnold line. We got. Do I have my freaking Arnold line? Oh, I don't have that one on here. Do I have my Arnold? Put that cookie down. Put that cookie down now. Where is it? I got the con men.
You hear me, right? Con men, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals.
So what's this topic? What do you guys?
Oh, we're talking about the Sony possibly announcing that they sold about 7.5 million consoles. That's kind of where the what their estimated is. Do you think they're going to hit that number, hit above it, or hit below it?
7.5.
7.5
by
million.
when?
By the end of the March. That's when they're going to do their financial.
I mean,
thing.
If they can get enough consoles out, I think they can do it.
Do you think they did though? It's hard to tell.
I don't know.
They said 4 million. When did they say 4 million? January?
They said 6 million.
4.5 million,
right?
I think.
Yeah, I think January.
But they said 6 not too long ago.
Did they? Let me see. Sony. I'm gonna try to find it.
They said like 6 million, not like a month ago or something. They had hit 6 million.
Let me see.
Trying to bring up the numbers.
Yeah.
It was 25 billion revenue for the PlayStation division by itself.
They
and
said
then
it was the
10
fastest
billion
console.
10 billion in profit for Sony. So you kind of got to like cut the math between, because there's a difference between revenue and profit, you know, and PlayStation is one of their drivers for money. It should be like the biggest revenue source for Sony. I know they have their movie division and other, you know, entertainment and stuff like that, but it's crazy. 25 billion revenue for PlayStation, 10 billion profit for Sony, which is a record. Fastest selling console. The PlayStation already beat that. So yeah, 7.6. You know,
Yeah,
it's not.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if they hit below that. Or I think that they
March 6th. It says on March 6th they're at 6 million.
Yeah, so if they sold another million in March or something like that, so yeah, they're on pace to be you know, to probably outsell like all over where the PlayStation 5 is. But yeah, here it is. Where was this? This was Asia Naki. Wait, hold on, I'm trying to get the website. Nikki. This is where it came from. Let's see here. Hold on, I'm gonna show it on here. So this is what they're saying. Oh man, I gotta zoom this in. Friggin' like crazy, but yeah, they're saying here. Close this. The company revised it. So they revised their net profit forecast. The second upward revision this fiscal year. They're expected to have annual net profit. That's great. I don't give a fuck. They're making money. Here it is. We're on track to sell over 7.6 million units by the end of this fiscal year, the chief of financial officer, the CFO, said at a news conference. Reiterate, because you got to remember, too, like, I don't know. Oh, he reiterating company hopes that PS5 shipments will surpass the PlayStation 4 sales over a similar period after its launch and become the biggest console debut ever. You know what I find is very interesting? Usually, and this is what happened in the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and 4, they would combine, like, this is many PlayStations we sold, and they'll combine it from the previous generation. So they'll count the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Like, we're at 127 million PlayStations out there. And Xbox did the same thing with, like, you know, not separating the 1s and the 1S's. And excuse me, I think Xbox kind of does that now, where they say Xboxes, but, well, they don't even announce sales. But they, but I thought the thing is really interesting that Sony is really focusing on, this is how many PlayStation 5s were selling, and they're not kind of recalling that the PlayStation 4 is at over 115 or 20 million. I'm sure that thing's not slowed down a little bit, but I'm sure that thing's got to be pushing some crazy numbers as well, the PlayStation 4s. So, like, I think it's interesting that they're really focusing on just the PlayStation 5, and this is why I brought it up as a topic, is because is very important to developers. Because if you, and this is why they do the same thing with VR, and when you launch a new device, you want to talk about market permeation and how much it's sold in the market, because that is a potential audience for a developer to develop for you. So the more I say is sold in the market, the developers now go, whoa, that is now 7-something million consoles that I could develop for. It makes sense for our development studio to focus on making a game just for PlayStation 5, because that's a pretty significant install base for us to make it back. That's why I always thought it was important when Microsoft was like, we don't care about numbers anymore. It's like, but you're taking the focus off of the Xbox development, and you're basically saying, well, we have 1 billion users. And it's like, well, that's kind of a bullshit number to a development studio, because you're basically assuming a development studio wants to make a game to work on streaming devices. They want to work on a phone. They want to work on most likely a PC and an Xbox. Maybe this developer doesn't want to make a PC version and an Xbox version. They just want to make a console version. And, you know, Microsoft kind of abandoned that thought from a developer by just kind of gumping up everybody together and be like, we're all one family now. And it's like, no, you're not. You have different focusing of developments, different types of scalability that you need to focus on. Where Sony could be like, 7.5 million, hey, there you go. You want to make a console game? Here's a console that's in the market. Well, how much does Xbox have? I don't know. You know? And I think that's important when you have a new generation console. You want to talk about market permeation.
Yeah, they're pointing that out with Spider-Man Miles Morales. You remember when that charted #1?
Yeah. That's been selling like crazy
months
too.
and months. months after the PlayStation 5 launched.
Yeah.
They were talking about with that and like the high sales charts and stuff like that. It's the permeation, like you're talking about, getting people to transition over to the new console generation. Jim Ryan was talking about that's a focus. He said a lot of things, right? He talked about other stuff that he lied about. But you can imagine if they're able to get a lot of people, millions of people on the PlayStation 5 platform, then they'd be more, able to say, hey, we're going to have this as a PlayStation 5 only title. Because as of right now, they're just like, hey, we're going to do Ratchet and Clank. And we did Demon Souls, and we'll give you a little bit of these other games. But these huge games, we're going to have those cross-gen,
Yeah, and if you know anything about game development, these AAA games take years to develop. So these games that are coming, like God of War and Horizon, have been in development probably before they even had dev kits for the PlayStation 5. So they were probably already working with PS4 hardware. So a lot of the stuff we're getting is stuff that's either cross-generation or ported to the new hardware. So I don't think, these games, like it makes sense for them to put this stuff on that hardware, being that it's already been in development. You got a huge install base there, So I think for this year, I think next year is when you'll start to see that they just completely, next year is when you'll see that they completely make a cut with that old hardware and just kind of
like the whole lying thing. Like, I think it was more of like their presentation in September was these games were built only with the power of the PlayStation 5. Speaking about Spider-Man and and also Demon Souls and stuff like that. But when they said, well, Spider-Man's also getting ported over to the PlayStation 4. Now, I would argue that Miles Morales looked incredible on the PlayStation 5, and maybe the design was held back. Maybe they wanted to do things that they couldn't do but I think it was definitely a good demonstration of more power in a game than the previous generation. Like, I think it did its job. Like, well, it could do probably better. I'm sure it could. But the thing is that they demonstrated those games as being like, this is only possible with the PlayStation 5. And then kind of pivoted back and said, well, these couple of games are going to be PlayStation 4 games. That's where he kind of lied and did the okie dokie, the Jim Ness. But the thing is believing in generations and stuff feels like goes beyond also a next-gen exclusive game, which they have, which their competition really doesn't have, and Microsoft dedicating a first-party game to only next-gen, unless Forza is going to be it, and we still are uncertain of it, which it sounds like Forza might be one of those games. But Sony's come out the gate going, this is a PlayStation 5 game. Here's Demon Souls, PlayStation 5 only. Astrobot, PlayStation 5 only. What is it? Ratchet and Clank, PlayStation 5 only. So like they have some only first party games. Godfall, well, yeah, that was not first party, but like an exclusive that they had. But they had first party games only on next gen. But it also goes beyond that. I say like the UI, we talked about the 4K UI, the control, like those are also generational differences. And that's where I think it is. It's the difference of a generation where you look at the Xbox controller, Xbox UI, like it does not just the games, but it also goes deeper than the concept of having a generational difference. Like they could have kept the same UI and just tweaked it a little bit, said, here's your PlayStation 5, and I'm sure they would have ran into less issues and less complaints. Where are my folders?
So, one of the things you have to take into account too is the fact that this is the first time that Sony's actually had backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4. So it's a lot easier for people, especially in this digital age, to say, hey, I'm going to commit to upgrading to a next-gen system earlier because I'm not losing my entire library, right? It's going forward with me, especially if you have a digital library, which a lot of people do now. So I think that that's going to help out tremendously in getting people to go over to the PlayStation 5. And another thing that's going to help out is the fact that they have two SKU. They have the digital version, which costs $100 less, which that's $399, which it's going to fly off of shelves when it's available, because that's the one I actually got. And guess how many times I miss having a disk drive? About 0, because I never used it anyway.
It's one less thing to break.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm completely all digital, and I got that $100 off, and I use that towards games, stuff like that. And I just think it's just going to be an explosion. Like I said, it's going to be at least 2 to 1, or if not more sales wise when it comes to these next gen consoles. And it's just going to go, it's like a fork in the road. Cause if you look at the mapping and like what games are coming out, you have Halo Infinite coming out in the holiday season. Then you have Horizon Forbidden West. And then further out, you have the new God of War. It's just like they have this roadmap of Sony having these crazy games early on in the generation. You have a new
PS4,
Gran Turismo. Yeah, they didn't have that in the PS4. So it's like they took that momentum from the PlayStation 4 and it's like continuing. It's not like they have to build up from nothing like they did with PlayStation 4.
Exactly.
You know?
And know what else is important too? Like just to go back to the Miles Morales thing with the sales, is that it all goes with the marketing. So the message that Miles Morales was launched with the PlayStation 5, as the PlayStation 5 sell more, that's why you're seeing Miles Morales have these legs, because people are waiting to buy Miles with the PlayStation 5, even though it's available on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, I mean, I work with couple of gamers, casual people, and they don't have PS5, but they literally didn't know that the game was available on PS4.
Sony did a crazy marketing of that, right? They didn't even mention, really. Yeah. They said, hey, it's on PlayStation 4, but that's about it.
I'm like, hey, you guys, you can play it on your PS4. They're like, I'm just going to wait till I get a PS5.
Exactly.
So they're like, yeah.
That's why, and that's why it's very interesting, the attach rate with PS5 and Miles Morales. It shows how effective marketing. It's interesting because Sony kind of did something similar to that with Destiny versus the Xbox. Like they kind of marketed Destiny to make it look like it was a PlayStation exclusive when it wasn't. And really a lot of people interested in Destiny would just go to thinking like, oh, this is not on any other console. It's this. And it just shows how messaging, which Microsoft is horrible at, and that's where their biggest problem is, messaging and management. I think they got the potential, but I think messaging and management, the double M's, are just not their strong point at all. I think they fluster. They don't demonstrate their games properly. They don't get people excited. They seem like they don't know how to be in touch with the game, even though they're the most active on social media. They got Aaron Greenberg hopping around in an Ori costume, Agent Nelson doing podcasts every week. They seem so connected. Phil's in people's party chats, but then when it comes to kind of making announcements and kind of telling people what they want, they fall flat on their face. They think that Halo looked good and that was fine. Those are the things where it shows that they're disconnected. The doubling of Xbox Live, and then kind of like just being kind of weird with stuff and not showing games and flowing people around and sit around a round table to just look at each other and smirk and smile going, this is wonderful. Oh, this is nice. Bethesda, hi. Oh, we got things to talk about. Like, we will make exclusives and you might see us do other things that were legacies. And like, what? You should be like, no, we got exclusives for the console. Just like Starfield. Show it, Phil. And then here you go. Exclusive and leave. Instead, they sit around a circle jerk and they kind of smile at each other going, wait till E3, bitch. Oh, don't say that. And they get their little smirk. Like, it's so stupid. I'm like, just say it. Their messaging is horrible. And that's what they seem to disconnected.
Yeah, their whole marketing campaign for the Series X was tied to Halo.
Yeah, right? That's how bad that was.
Look at the boxes and what the Taco Bell commercials. And, I mean, everything was, I mean, they already, I guess it was too late to pivot. So they didn't cancel any of the stuff that they had going on as far as the promotions and stuff for that game. But yeah, that Series X I got, man, that thing is, I don't even turn it on. I mean, I use it to watch movies and stuff like that, but as far as like playing video games, I don't.
Yeah, I have a chart up here. This is, again, and these estimates are on the VG chart. Like, I'm just saying, like, the thing is that it is a very good piece of hardware with the Series X. I think that it's very quiet. They did, again, they got the hardware. They got the boxing. Oh, the box is so nice. You open it up, it opens up so fancy. And then as soon as you turn it on, you're like, you hear Benny Hill music play. It's like, what is this? The same UI. You got the same old ass capture mechanisms. You gave me a brand new share button, but didn't give me new share software. What is this? You gave me an old ass UI at 1080p. You gave me all these boxes and crazy shit all over the place. Everything, the settings is still a friggin' app. Embed this stuff into your goddamn console. You got the stupid ass community tab, but you got rid of the community. Mix is gone. Why does that tab still exist? It makes no sense. There's no community. You killed them. But there's Game Pass and advertisements and marketing all over the goddamn place. I feel like the Xbox, when you turn that thing on, it is like a cruise ship. You know when you get on the cruise ship and they give you like the samples and go, well, now you're on the cruise, bitch. Well, everything now is an excursion. Everything now is an extra $5 for a drink. Oh, you want bingo cards? Well, you got to pay $10 for bingo cards. And you're on this cruise ship and you're like, oh shit, the cruise was $1,000, but now they're nickel and diming for every goddamn thing on this cruise ship. That's Xbox. You sign into that Xbox, it's the goddamn Phil Spencer cruise. And it's like, well, you want a game? You want Xbox Live? It's going to cost you with the Game Pass. And then you want some Game Pass? You want some DLC with that? Oh, shit. Here we go. Here's some commercials. And I feel like it's like, you know, they're trying to advertise bullshit to you. And anyway, but here's a little chart right here. And you can see, you know, the Switch, the Series X, the PlayStation going crazy. Now, I'm not going to say there's official data. Don't take this and make PowerPoint slides with it. But, you know, the projections are that the PlayStation 5 is whooping that ass. And you know what? That can only be good for console development. Because, you know, PCs are nice, but I'm a console dude. I like consoles. And I don't want consoles to go away. All right? And I don't want to be playing in no 5-inch Phil Spencer phone. Okay? So I'm telling you that right now.
Bullshit.
That's right. Bullshit, Arnold. So the next topic we got here on the Grinds board. Holy shit, where is it? The next topic we got here. Let me move my goddamn display here. Here it is. The next time. Oh, yeah, it's Salty. Talk about this PS5 SSD texture streaming. What is this all about? It's about nothing. Next topic. Does anybody know about this texture streaming thing?
I read an article, but it didn't really say much. So
you're right, it didn't.
I mean, what they kind of, if you watch the Unreal demo, you remember that Unreal demo for the PS5 that they showed?
Yeah.
So they were loading like 8K textures because of the speed of the SSD that could load these crazy textures. So they kind of showed it off a little bit with that demo. So I guess with the faster SSD, you'll be able to load higher quality textures because of the throughput of the SSD.
Yeah, like I think they asked like a third-party dev or something like that working on some on a game. I had the article up where it was working on some game, and they're like, they basically said, hey, you know, both consoles are pretty comparable. And then somebody's like, well, was there anything that's specific? And they said, oh, the texture streaming of the SSD. And I know that's something that Cerny mentioned about the PlayStation. And I think the general thing is that Sony has a traditional console, whereas the hardware and the software are optimized to bring games to people, where I feel like Xbox is still based off a Windows kernel. It's still kind of feeling that, and I think both of them give better benefits. It's just that the benefits to the actual games, it seems, is better for the PlayStation, whereas the Xbox, I think it's, you know, is good for the apps and I think maybe some games that maybe if they're making them on a PlayStation, on a PC, they could port them over a little bit easier maybe because it has the same background architecture, so you might see games on Steam and on Xbox. So I do think that, you know, Microsoft's architecture does have some benefits that way, but I do think that, and because of that, Microsoft probably had to sacrifice some customizations so specifically to the hardware software and had to kind of go with more of a PC type, you know, brute force type thing to maybe compromise for that customness, where Sony is a fine-tuned machine where the hardware and the software are communicating and not creating any bottlenecks or anything like that, where Xbox might have, you know, brute force here, but maybe the optimization needs to be better optimized for a game on the console. And I'm not no developer, but that's kind of the general thing that I'm seeing, is that Sony is definitely more of a software, hardware console to deliver things like this texture streaming and stuff like that. Not saying Xbox can't do it, but it seems that, and I think we heard it in that dev that I had on last week, not that I had on here, but I had him on the video. And, you know, he was saying where Sony kind of stuck to what worked and, you know, its tools and stuff, when Microsoft really changed a lot of things on the back end. And I think Microsoft did a lot of that stuff to try to blend in with the PC world and their vision of kind of like, you make it on PC, on Xbox, that's for a service, for xCloud, and kind of that uniformity between all those platforms, which I'm sure compromises have to be made, even though people tell you no. I'm sure compromises have to be made to make that kind of system work, where Sony is still on an isolated, we make consoles, we make gaming entertainment machines, and this is the best place to play a game, and we're going to make it the easiest tool for developers to make that. That's kind of what it is. Salty's back. Salty, do you have anything to add about the SSD texture streaming? He's back.
I think I'm not an expert, obviously, so I'm gonna just throw that out there. I just think it's interesting that a lot of times when you ask these developers what are the things they're most excited about, they don't bring up GPU power. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's at Dev last week. Yeah,
because that's the first thing that Xbox likes to go to. They like to talk about teraflop counts, which developers don't go off those numbers anyway. Like from this article, the two developers were talking, they were asked, you know, what are you excited about, or what do you think about both consoles? And they said, like, the difference between, what is it, like 10 with Sony? I don't have the numbers.
It's like 10.5, 10.2
10.2
versus 12 teraflops, that whole thing.
Yeah, they said it was negligible. You know, it's negligible between the two. And that's pretty much what's happening, because, like, unless you're Digital Foundry and you're kind of zooming in 800 times, you're not going to tell the difference in these consoles. And basically, with you know, with the SSD, you're going to see a majority of this being used with first party games. So that's what the exciting things are. Because, like, from a third party perspective, are you going to see that much difference when it comes to the SSD? Probably not. I mean, it comes to developers, so like how much they want to use it and how long they've had the dev kits and stuff. But like in games like Ratchet and Clank, that's where we're going to see the incredible things.
I'm
like,
interested to see that. Yeah.
In Rift Apart, the way that they're doing the level design is just kind of mind blowing. You're going through these portals basically into new levels where it's basically no loading time. And what you can do with that, and with open worlds and stuff like that. So it should be interesting to see how much it's implemented in a game like Horizon Forbidden West, which it's kind of a cross-gen game. So it's like, well, how much is Guerrilla going to take advantage of that SSD, considering, you know, we have issues with the older hardware, but there's rumors that they made two different versions of the game, one for the next gen and one for last gen. If that's the case, then you could do incredible things with the game.
Or there could be another studio that's porting it to the PS4. You know, I mean, it could be
they did it with Titanfall. Remember? Well, Titanfall
Horizon,
did
the
you know?
Yeah, it was like Titanfall, Tomb Raider,
on
the 360. You know, and even the PC version of Horizon was not ported by Guerrilla. It was done by some other studio, so they had to step in and start fixing it after it was released, but they didn't even design the PC port. So
yeah, so like, that's the thing. Like, and again, like I know design, and I think the whole thing with the whole crush generations and all stuff, we're still in that crush generation kind of play right now. And I think the more we hear about Horizon, just like what they did with Spider-Man, I really think that PlayStation 4, you know, Horizon, that might be a kind of teeter-totter. And if we keep not hearing about Horizon, that might come to PlayStation 4. They may just kind of nix it. It depends. Like,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That game is way far too in the
because you're right. They started making that in 2007, like right after that the first one.
So
that one will definitely be cross-gen. I'll have two versions for that, but
two versions, yeah.
I was surprised about how optimized some of these first-party games were for at the end of the generation, because I had a PlayStation Slim, right? That's like 1.7 or something like that. And like the hardware, the Jaguar core and everything, and to play The Last of Us 2 on there to see how optimized it was and how graphically it just looked flawless to me. And like, of course, it was playing at a lower frame rate and stuff like that, but it was just. Some of these games that you're playing, you're just God of War.
Like even Ghost of Tsushima, man, playing that at 60 frames, but just seeing that game, it's just like, I can't believe that this was on an old ass hardware.
Those games are designed with that old hardware in mind. Yeah, they had pro features like maybe higher resolutions, but they still were fundamentally the same game. So I did a full playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2. I have a pro, and I did a full playthrough on the base PS4, and yeah, I mean, the resolution was lower. It was just 1080p, but it was the same. I didn't really have a different experience other than the lower resolution. I mean, the performance was almost identical. I mean, it was because it was 30 FPS. I think on the Pro, it runs at 1440p. I think.
Oh, yeah,
But,
Sanu wrote something in the chat. He goes that he says teraflops don't. It's teraflops don't matter. He says it's the what was that? It said it's not the SSD. It's the whole I/O system. It's all about being able to fill the RAM in under 60 seconds. So it's not just the SSD. It's the and I think I was saying, like, it's the whole system. That's the benefit of having a closed console versus making a PC game where you have other operating parts and things going on with PC, background processes and all that other stuff, where a console is definitely it's a specialized system built to play games. Like, yeah, it might have some overhead or anything like that for running a UI in the background, but it's not running an operating system and other programs and things that just do startup when you start up like a PC does, and they don't have to compensate for that kind of RAM. All their RAM could be targeted, flipped, utilized, reserved for what they need to do, like data, exactly. So, like, the thing is that's why, and we're talking about how, and that's probably why those games work the way they do, because of those kind of tricks that could do with fixed hardware. That's why I always liked the whole kind of the existence of a console to make that stuff, because you get those kind of experiences, like a God of War looking like that and a Ghost of Tsushima running like that. You don't have to run out and buy a 4080, a 3080, and then kind of run around and be like, I hope somebody takes advantage of this, and when they don't, you just jack up all the shadows or something like that.
Look at a game like God of War, right? That's 1800p or 2160p checkerboarded, right?
Yeah.
But you'll find a hard time telling the difference between that and native 4K.
Oh yeah, those photos are incredible.
Whereas a game like Avengers, which has terrible checkerboarding, you can tell the difference between that and the native resolution. But the funny thing about it was with that game, the developers were kind of lazy. They just took the PS4
they had
Pro
Inexus make the Pro upgrade, right? They had another company, Inexus or Nexus.
No, Nexus is the company that makes the game. That's the company.
Oh, that's who it is. Okay,
no,
Nexus.
That's
all right. I thought they outsourced it.
No. What they did was they took the Pro version and just
jacked up the resolution
with the checkerboard, and they didn't go. Which the game would look better if it was running at a lower native resolution, like it is on the Series X,
rather than checkerboard.
But instead, they said it was easier. And even NX Gamer said he reached out to Nixus, and they said that it was easier for them. The tools that they had were easier to just port the PS4 Pro version over to the PS5 versus writing the whole code to run a native resolution. They just decided to use checkerboarding. So they literally just took the PS4 Pro version and jacked the resolution up. Whereas on the Series X, because it doesn't because the 1X version didn't have checkerboarding, it just ran at a native resolution. They were just able to bump it up. So they didn't do the work to get the PS5 version up to where it could be.
Yeah, and we've seen that in a couple of things where have the existence of the Xbox One X has benefited the Series X, and even I think to the Series S to some extent, in some games where they're getting a port that the dev kind of upgraded or built for the One X, and actually kind of just taking that stuff and bringing it over to the Series X, where PlayStation, you're getting a Pro version, which kind of was probably underpowered and underutilized, and then basically now trying to revamp that whole thing to run on a PlayStation 5. That's because Microsoft's next-gen solution was more next-gen than the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Look at what was that Star Wars game?
The older, I know, the new one.
Yeah, that same thing. They took the Pro version, they took the 1X version, and just doubled the resolution pretty much. They didn't up the resolution.
Lazy devs, goddammit, lazy devs.
So it's we'll this is going to be an issue for a while as long as they continue to upgrade these older video games, older last generation titles. But this is going to become less and less a problem when we're just getting native PS5 games and native Series X games. So.
So we'll move on to the next couple of topics, and then we'll go to the PlayStation Now topic. The Sadi.com says, he goes, Sanu.com, the problem with the Xbox Series X is not the Xbox Series X. It's a good system, but the goddamn booster, the Xbox Series S, not happy. Yeah, I know some people liking it. I know that Glorious likes his thing, but he does have a powerful PC, the Booster. We call it Booster here at the Grindhouse. We refer to it as Booster. Yes, that's who it is. We talked about Booster last week, the existence of Booster, and devs don't like them. But yeah, we were in the Grindhouse. The Xbox Series S is called Booster. And yes, people don't like that it has the lower RAM. That one is, it is what it is. I call it a placeholder. It is just basically a holding position while Xbox upgrades the Xbox, because they're going to sell you an Xbox Series S2, I'm sure, in the next couple of years when all those
of course they will, but
they will.
But the problem is, with this hardware existing, they're going to continue to have to support it for the whole generation.
Exactly.
And so
they will,
Microsoft's going to have to support it, and third-party devs are going to have to support it, because I guarantee you Microsoft is not going to allow a developer to release a game on their platform on the Series X and not the S. I don't care what other new hardware.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's kind of, we're screwed.
Yeah.
When it comes to third party anyway.
Well, if that's the case, what you're gonna see is third party can never rely on, but what you might see is maybe some, and if that install base keeps growing, like the 7.5 million, the Xbox kind of sits there, and if it's at 4 million or something like that, and Sony really pulls away at 2, 3 to 1, you're gonna see more games on the PlayStation 4 than just kind of get ported over later to the Xbox, and that, and like, how we saw that already. We kind of saw that already.
Like I was saying, like when devs are asked about like what they're excited about, they talk about SSD and they talked about RAM. And what's the interesting part here is the Series X has 16 gigs of GDDR6 RAM, whereas the Series S only has 10 gigs. And then by a lot of accounts, the 16 gigs that the Series X has is not enough for future proofing these systems, because whenever you build these computers, it's synergy between all your stuff, right? CPU, GPU, RAM, all this stuff plays into it, and you can have bottlenecks. If you don't like you could have you could have like a 3090, right? But if your CPU is your bottleneck, then you're not going to be able to get the full power out of your system. If you have crappy RAM, that's going to mess your system up as well. So that's the big issue with the Series S, is like that 10 gig.
Oh my God,
crazy,
speed of that RAM. RAM is
the RAM is a problem for them. They've been saying
8 gigabytes and 2. It's partitioned 2 and 8,
split, right?
And the 2 gigabytes is running at 56 gigabytes a second, whereas the slower RAM on the Series X is running at 336 gigabytes. Like, there's a huge difference in the speed of the RAM on the Series S versus the Series X. So it's not even just the amount of RAM or that it's divided up. The RAM is so much slower in that Series S. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing the performance. It's not even just the resolution that's lower. The performance is a lot worse on Series S.
Otherwise, if they just bottom out the resolution and they kind of make it they definitely make it towards like a frame rate machine, but they don't. But they're bottoming out that and that resolution. Like, they're just like 900p, 1080p to get those 60 frames. Like, that's why they're calling it like a frame rate box more so than it's not running a 1440p 60 frames or 120 or anything like that.
The problem that I have, and I've made my voice clear about this situation, is I just think that Xbox is willingly mismarketing this Series S as something that it's not, and they're pointing towards this 1440. Like, go to their website. Like,
I just went to it.
You go to their website, and guess what they show you? They show you what they want to show you, because typically consumers are not going to be tech savvy, right? So they go in here and they look at it, right? And it's the Series X and they have the Series S on one side, and then they have the frame rate up to 120 frames per second, and that's one text for both consoles, right? So the consumer is going to be like, oh, the frame rates are the same on there. And then they go down and they don't talk about the processor details. They give teraflops, which is the most useless number ever, right?
Yeah.
And then they give a resolution, and guess what they give? They give 1440p for the Series S, true 4K for the Series S. But in actuality, when they did that new commercial for the Series S, guess what it was? 1080p, right? 60 frames per second. So you are marketing it as a 1440p system when a lot of the games are sub 1080p. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's not marketed close to what it should be. So you're confusing all these customers into buying this thing.
You got games that are running sub HD sometimes when they drop in resolution. If they have dynamic resolution, you got 720p, 900p. You got games that are not even running full HD on this console, and I don't care what they say. People are starting to buy 4K televisions. So
Oh,
no,
for
they're
sure.
not. They are not, saturated as much as 1080p televisions. But people are starting to buy 4K televisions, and that's going to look so ugly on a
Yes.
4K TV. Trust me, I played the Switch on a
Yep.
4K TV. It looks
That's
horrible.
why I said it's a placeholder. It's a transition console because it's gonna fill in that void of like
It's a
while
Game
we're
Pass box.
in. Yeah, it's a Game Pass box, but
Yeah.
it's also gonna fill in that void of something where. You're in these games where you're getting cross-gen games, and it kind of fits there where it's like, oh, we could play these games at higher RAMs, which I don't understand. The Xbox One X was I know that processor sucked, but the fact is that it was a more powerful console, like in the sense of like with GPUs, the
GPU.
fact that it would go, and I guess they couldn't do that with some CPU-bound games. They had to try to bring it all up there. The thing is the fact that they tried to kind of bring this in there. They should have just made this a diskless 1X, a Series X, and called it a day, just like what PlayStation did, and moved on from there. Like, it's not like this thing is really cheap. Like, $300 is still a lot for a console that really is like, it would have been nice for them to just do 500 and 400 just like Sony and move in there, but they thought that this $300. So that's why when you see how good Sony's doing with their NPDs and stuff, you got to realize that Microsoft released not one, but 2 next-gen consoles. Oh, and they undercut Sony with a 300. Remember how crazy people got with the $400 PlayStation 4, and it was undercut from the Xbox One X, the Xbox One with $500. Microsoft did that. They undercut Sony. They have a $300 next-gen quote-unquote console. And a $400 and a $500 one and a $300 one, and Sony has a $500 and a $400 one. So Microsoft is undercut Sony, but the thing is that you would think with 2 Xboxes out in the wild, it would easily outpace or outsell or match a PlayStation because Sony just they undercut them. You have a $300. If this thing really was the $300 next gen console, they'll have you believe. People would have said $300 for a next-gen console? Buy. And the Series S would have been the one to boost Xbox.
Been the top seller.
Yeah, it would have made Xbox MPD come in at least 2 over Sony, with Sony sitting at 5 and 400, right?
You remember the bullshit that people were spinning, like, what's his name? There's a bunch of them. Saying that the Xbox Series S is competing with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that's all a bunch of horseshit. Where's my Arnold?
Tom Warren, I think is Tom Warren is his name. He has me blocked or whatever, but it's just bullshit after bullshit that is coming out about this console, and I hear it, and I'm like, dude, do you guys understand what you're saying out of your mouth?
Dude,
come on. Because like the idea of it, yes, it's a small compact console.
It is small.
I do like the SSD that's in it, right? I do like that. I think that's a good upgrade. I can give it props where it deserves props, but at the same time, like the CPU's good-ish, RAM's not good. And then they were saying like, it's just crazy, man. It's marketed a certain way by Xbox, and then all the little fanboys follow suit. And then they run with a narrative like, oh, this is what is law. Like teraflops are law.
And then you got this $200 expanded drive.
Yeah, well, look at the SSD. It's like 500 gigs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do with that? And that's an all digital console. Like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, there's no sharing with the disc or anything like that. And then you got to buy these proprietary drives in here. But yeah, it definitely. That's why I think that this is the thing. Last thing I want to say on this thing, because I did talk about this last week, but this is what I'm saying. This is the plan, and if you heard it here, everybody, this Xbox All Access, it's a 2-year, $25 a month cost. Okay, so why is it 2 years? And it also has an upgrade program that after 18 payments you could upgrade to the next console. Upgrade now. So don't you think? You pay $25 a month, you get 2 years of Game Pass, because you got to get that. We got to give you Game Pass, even though you don't want it. I want to just pay for the console. No. $25 includes 2 years of Game Pass. That's $360 or something like that. It's $180 a year. $360 we added to your cost of the $300 console. You're paying more for the service than the console itself. But we got to do it. That's the package. But you'd think after 2 years they're not going to have a nice, juicy Series S2 lined up for you to upgrade to. And the same thing goes with a Series Xbox 2, a Series X2. They're going to have it.
Is it just Microsoft's goal to just have people constantly making some sort of
subscription of payment? Yes,
like,
yes. This is.
It's all tied around that. It's like a cell phone model.
Come on,
basically.
it's exactly. The hardware is not going to matter. But that's the plan, and you can see it right here. Here it is. Upgrade to the Series X Xboxes, and it says 18 months payment, and then here it is. Ooh, they have a whole plan. Select upgrade, but you only qualify for the upgrade after 18 months of payments. So and you got to send back the trade-in kit. It's a whole question thing.
Trade-in kit.
Oh yeah, no, here it is. Who do I contact? No, this is it. If you want to upgrade, they send you a box. So use the trade-in kit mailbox to set all Xbox Access console. You put the controller, the console, and the power cord in the trade-in kit. Then we'll send, if all 3 items are there, and within 14 days, we'll send you the upgraded Xbox, and you continue making payments for that.
So are you sure they're not just talking about like upgrading to an S Series X? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
This is to purchase a Series X or S with the All Access. Because remember, All Access started with the One X. So like basically those people could upgrade too. But this is also talking about All Access. We're excited to offer more flexibility. You'll be able to purchase a Series X or S with All Access at any time, including during your pre-order window. That's what it says.
feel like the series names was made for a reason. I think that I don't know if they're necessarily going to discontinue the Series S, to be honest, to be brutally honest.
No, they'll give a Series S2, and then they'll just have 5 consoles.
They'll keep supporting it like cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll be like, okay, if you have a Series S, you're not getting left behind. If you have a Series X, you're not getting left behind because it's all series, right? And then they'll go like Series whatever.
That's the plan. So there will be a new one. That's why all of us lamenting over hardware. This hardware is going to change in the next 2 years. Like they're going to have another one. And look, you could even click here and check your payment status because you need a minimum of 18 payments. So if you buy All Access Series XS right now on X, you don't qualify for the upgrade if you want to go from an S to an X or I guess the next one until 18 payments.
Don't they have they have this at Best Buy too, right? Where you can
it's all the same program. It's just certain retailers do it. Their store
and then they have
Best
it at
Buy.
they teamed up with GameStop as well, right? That partnership.
I think GameStop has it too.
They bought, what is it? Microsoft bought stock into GameStop or something happened.
You need a minimum payment though. Like you need to do this for about a year and a half before you qualify, just like a cell phone. Before you can upgrade to the Xbox, to qualify for an upgrade, you need to have 18 payments. But like if this is your game right here that you could buy an X or an S with All Access, why would you have an upgrade program if you don't plan on having upgrades to these next gen consoles? Like there will be an upgrade, and they know in 2 years you'll be looking for the upgrade, and that's why the Series S2 and S2 are coming. That's why
I swear to God, like 2 years ago, like right when Game Pass came out, I was talking about that Microsoft's going to go towards the cell phone model.
This is it. You look at this.
Go
look at this website.
They're like, they're not doing that. I'm like, dude, trust me, they will. Like,
that's exactly
they want you to get into these subscription services, and eventually they'll build a system where you can trade it in like a cell phone and upgrade. And this is exactly what it is.
And
man.
Guess what it comes with? 2 years of Game Pass. So you're constantly, and I don't want Game Pass. This is not even, see what I told people when this came out. If you want the console, go get a Best Buy credit card and do 12 months no interest financing. Therefore, you just pay for the console and then you could decide what you want to do. If you do this, they get you with 2 years of Xbox Game Pass, which is an extra $360. I just want the console for payments. Oh, no. You got to pay another $360 for the service. Like, I don't want Game Pass for 2 years. You're paying more for the service in that $25 a month. I think you save maybe about $50 or something like that, or you save like a little bit if you do it this way, rather than if you just buy the console and then pay for 2 years of Game Pass. But why wouldn't you just get a department credit card and buy the console, 12 months no interest financing, done? Now you could decide. But with this, you're not only subscribing to the hardware, but you also subscribe to the service. 2 years of Xbox Game Pass comes with it. I don't want
the comments in the chat are hilarious. Xbox Series XS credit card, like a Game Pass credit card. What about xCloud, man? That thing went like missing in action. I haven't heard that shit. Like people were capping for xCloud, and that's like MIA. Who uses xCloud anymore?
It's included. That's the smart thing. Microsoft threw it in with they threw it in the baby and the bathwater. They threw it in. They threw it into Xbox Game Pass. So like it really doesn't matter. Like if Game Pass grows, then xCloud grows just by default. It's like I told you, Xbox xCloud is equivalent to the Homeline phone that cable throws in with the cable subscription in triple play. It's the shit that I don't want, but you give it to me anyway for the package.
Look at this. Okay.
But this is not the topic. The next topic was
okay. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, like we'll end on this one before we just destroy everything.
What is going to happen to third party on Xbox consoles? But because it's getting to a point where look at a game like Outriders. It was very clear that Square Enix realized that there really wasn't much interest in that game as far as people purchasing it on the Xbox platform. That's the only reason why that game is in Game Pass. So
they enough from the demo, right?
Is it going to be a situation where Microsoft is going to strong arm third-party devs to put their games in Game Pass because their customer base is not going to buy games? I mean, is this what their goal is with Game Pass? I mean, it seems like that's what's going on because
it's gonna have impacts on both sides. Because imagine on the PlayStation side, they talked about this. So a developer decides to throw their game day and date into Game Pass, like Outriders, right? So what happens on the other side for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5? The consumers see that Xbox, the gamers are not paying anything for this past their subscription to Game Pass. So why the fuck would they want to buy the game at full price and pay 60 whatever dollars when other people are getting the game in Game Pass? So they decide not to buy this on the other platform, which undercuts the sales of the game on that platform. You know, it has multiple effects. And then also you got to take into effect that the consumers get accustomed to being in a subscription service and not buying games. So if games are not on Game Pass, then they're going to tank sales wise on the Xbox platform. So what does that do to developers that aren't roped into Game Pass? Where do they put their games? Do they decide not to put them on Xbox? You know, so it has like a ripple effect.
Yeah,
and it's funny. The Froggy, shout out to Froggy in the chat. He goes, do the math. All right, well, you want to buy a $300 console and you want to do Xbox All Access? Well, that $300 console with the service turns into a $600 console. So there you go. So like, okay, $25 a month for 2 years. Yeah, that's $600. So the cheap $300 console is giving you $600.
He said you're saving 60, but let's be honest.
You're saving 60.
All Microsoft cares about is Xbox Game Pass. They really don't care about
I said you're saving some money. You're saving $60, but you're paying $600 when your intent was $300. Right. You look at a $300 console, I'm paying $6.
They want to rope you into that 2 years and hope you forget that you'll just pay into Game Pass and you just be cut.
And here's my last point on that thing. The reason why you want to talk about math, I'll tell you about goddamn math. Now you devolved my goddamn grinds board.
Now you got it.
Now you got me pissed. Because if I want to buy a $300 console, I would just do a Best Buy credit card and buy the $300 console with that and pay the $300 for the console. Why do I want to sign up for 2 years of a service? Well, I don't know what the fuck games are coming to the service. I'm paying for down months. I'm paying for up months. Why would I want to commit 2 years and $360 fucking dollars to a service where I have no fucking clue what's coming to it? Or I played everything, or I'm not interested in what's in there already. Why wouldn't I just do $10 or a dollar bill fill and try out what's in there and pay $15 when I want to play those games? Why would I give somebody $360 and say, you tell me what I'm going to play? Here you go. Here's $360 for the next 2 years. I'm going to let you choose what I have access to. Rather than me not doing that and knowing that I could spend my money on the stuff that I'm interested in. and then maybe even subscribe the months that I'm interested in. Why? You'll probably save $300. You'll save more than $60 doing it that way than just saying here's $360, here's $600. And now you tell me for the next 2 years what I should play. Plus, I'm going to buy games that I'm interested in on top of that. So what? How does that make any sense? Just pay for the console and pay what you want. Why do 2 years?
Imagine paying out.
That's common sense. God damn it.
On Netflix or HBO Max or one of these services and just blindly paying for them. And not because like a majority of consumers with these sub services will be like, hey, what do you got? We got Netflix. They have this. I'm happy with your service. It's on a month-to-month basis. But if you have bullshit for a certain period of time, I'll cancel my stuff until you bring it back. It's like if HBO Max isn't putting stuff that you want in there, you cancel your service, not blindly go, hey, let's go 2 years down.
Jesus Christ.
And then whatever you guys decide to throw in there, I'm at your mercy because I already paid.
Exactly. It just seems like a lot.
And these third-party games do not stay in Game Pass. So
that's what I said. It's a big commitment.
First-party content, yeah. And why in the world would you buy DLC for a game you don't even own?
So, that too. You're right. Well, it might leave, and then you get the 10% discount. But anyway, that's the whole Game Pass thing. Like I said, if you're interested, all access is nice that they do it. But if you just want the console, get the console and have the freedom of choice of what you want to buy and what you want to subscribe to based on your interests, rather than just throwing. And I bet you could get better deals with Game Pass with the stacking deal with Xbox Live than. You could pay $120 and then add Game Pass for $15 and turn it into Ultimate, which is a better value that way versus going and just saying, here's $360, Phil. You're gonna save me $80 or something like that. Shut off a couple of months because you just slap me in the face. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Anyway, and then the last thing we were talking about xCloud, which this wasn't even a friggin' topic, but here's another thing. Oh, I want to play on my phone. Let me pay a subscription for my phone. Well, guess what, guys? This Razer Knish right here is a $100 accessory for your friggin' phone. Who the hell is going to not only subscribe to Game Pass to play it on their phone, but then buy a $100 piece of peripheral to attach it to their phone? So, anyway, and then here's some strap-ons with some screens. Yeah, that's what you asked about xCloud. And also, too, there are some games that they added to xCloud that have touch. And that's they keep adding more and more games to that, but that's another list that Xbox has.
I didn't even know. Like, one of my coworkers was doing the xCloud thing with his phone, and I didn't know you had to have a controller to play most of the games. Like, I thought
no, you need a controller to play most of the games. There are some games on another list that are touch enabled, and those are. Well, yeah. Well, it basically just does an overlay of the list. I know Hellblade is one of them. I tried that. Yeah, do you support touch controls? See, Minecraft Dungeons says it, and it's optional. But basically, there are certain games that have touch controls. It's another list that they have. So it's not all the games that are in xCloud have touch controls. They keep adding more and more to do it. But you need a Bluetooth controller. And actually, I'm going to tell you this. Talking about xCloud, I've used certain things where I know that thing came out for the $1,000 Microsoft phone, the dual screen one, but I use it on the LG. You know what? It has the 2-screen case or whatever like that. You could do like their overlay of a controller at the bottom and have the game up top. I didn't mess around with that. It does work, but
the LG V60 or something.
The V60, the LG GX8X, the 8X. I think the 8X with the case. And you could do that with the controller, and you could almost have like a DS, like basically like you have a little handheld. So it does work with that. And I've used xCloud a couple of times, but again, it's part of the thing. But I just the practicality of it, it's really like I see people like sitting next to their router going, "This is great." I'm like, okay, next to our router.
How many people are hooking a controller up to their phone when they're out and about? Like, I just don't ever see people doing that.
That's the whole thing. Like, I think we learned a lot, even with headphones and stuff like that, like to listen to music. Like, they even went to little buds in the ear, because as soon as you have to bring an accessory to a mobile platform, that removes the mobility of it.
And,
you know, the
and
fact that
I work for Verizon, so I don't see customers asking about this stuff or wanting to know about it or doing this stuff. Like, I just don't see it. You know, I mean, maybe it's happening, but
well, no, man, it was the hotness. Remember? Well, but look what happened. Look at Luna kind of dropped off the X. And I said this was going to happen. This wasn't on the topic list, but with cloud, I was like, there are two things. When Google was coming out, I was like, there's two things. Google could hit it out of the park and be the de facto streaming platform, and Microsoft looks late to the party, or Google could come out and give everybody a bad taste about cloud streaming, and then by the time Microsoft shows xCloud, basically everybody has this negative connotation to streaming. And basically the latter happened. Google came out, Stadia sucked, the plan sucked, and basically streaming just became like a kind of like an afterthought thing, and it really didn't pick up. And that's why you see Google just not investing in their first party. You see Luna really kind of like, I don't know what the hell Luna's doing. Like, they keep trying to invite me to a beta. And then xCloud seems to be the only capable one, but it's being bundled in Game Pass because I don't think that they could charge separately for that right now. But speaking of streaming, you know, one service, you know, the other two topics, you know, Ratchet's going to be 60 frames in April. Hooray if you want to play that and return a new video. But, you know, the main topic, and we're going to go that to the grinds board. But speaking of streaming, you know, one service was just is trashed upon even to this day because of streaming. And streaming was horrible. And it was all about native downloads. And, you know, the service was just trash, and it's still trash because people say streaming sucks. But meanwhile, you want me to put strap-ons onto a phone or $100 Knish hooked up to my phone, and streaming is the best thing in the world. But PlayStation Now does streaming, but was declared trash. So let's talk about it. We're going to the grinds table. Here we go. Yo, here we go, Grinds. Get rid of this Grinds board. Oh, damn, I don't have the Grinds. We're at the Grinds table, and we're going to talk about this PlayStation Now, talking about streaming, right? Because streaming is horrible. But PlayStation Now had this thing that came out, and I tell you, man, the internet went lit. I think it was the most traction for PlayStation Now that I've ever seen. PlayStation Now had a $1 for a month deal. I didn't see it on my dashboard, but apparently people were seeing it. It was $1. It ends today. And hey, I would like to make the statement right now. I just did a video on this last week going over PlayStation Now, and it was on sale. I think it was like get 15 months for 12 months, something like that. But now it's $1. And everybody's like, oh shit, Dollar Bill Phil, there he is. He snuck into Lion Jim Ryan's cave and said, hey, give him $1 for 1 month. It ends today. It was a three-day thing. PlayStation Now is $1 for 1 month. $60 for a year. You could get it on sale probably for $44 a year if you just, you know, whenever you can find it on sale. That's why I have it for that way. But $1 deal, everybody was saying, look, now let's make fun of them because everybody made fun of Game Pass for $1, and now PlayStation Now is $1. But I would say it being $1 makes PlayStation Now the best value in gaming. What do you think, Link and Salty? Is it the best value in gaming for $1?
Is it? I guess with the amount of games that are on there, I guess so. Yeah.
Do you have PlayStation Now? That's the first question.
I've never even tried it.
But it's $1.
I'm not interested in these subscriptions. I want to own the game. I don't want to.
Own it.
Yeah. Blockbuster and all that stuff went out of business. That's when I stopped renting games. So
oh shit! Did you watch that Netflix documentary about Blockbuster? I watched that.
No, I didn't. I need to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. It's a good service. I mean, I don't think it's a bad service. There's tons of games on, tons of downloadable games, and even more you can stream. So honestly, there's way more games on there than what Game Pass has to offer.
Yeah, Game Pass has about 200. Even though they say over 100, if you do a legit count, they have like over 200. I don't know why they don't advertise more about they're higher their number. Like they don't seem like they because it seems like they're adding games. They also take away games, but they do have more than what they say. Like, they always advertise over 100 games, but they do have more. So I don't know why they don't do that. Where Sony has over 800 games. They're approaching about 900. I think they'll probably have 1,000 by the end of the year. But some of their games they've made a pivot. So first, before I get onto the PlayStation Now thing, Salty, do you have PlayStation Now?
No, I tried it out once. I think it was like the trial, and I played the God of Wars through there. But I didn't really. I thought it was pretty impressive, and I didn't see any lag or anything like that. It's just I don't really have a desire to sub to that service, honestly. Like the games that they're offering aren't enticing enough for me to get it. There are some games in there I would play. It just I don't know. It just hasn't motivated me to do it. Now, if I do sign up again, it'll probably only be for a month. I play the games I wanted to and then cancel. It's not something I would stay subscribed to. But people that say that like PlayStation Now is trash, it doesn't work streaming wise, they haven't played it on a good connection, because it does. It
does.
Works fine.
I actually streamed it on this channel, and actually what I'm going to do is look. I am going to show you. Oh my goodness, look at this, Grinders. We're first ever, we're going to have a PlayStation overlay while we talk about the topic. So yeah, we just talked about the PlayStation Now, and basically, so yeah, here it is. So the PlayStation Now. So I'm going to tell you one thing. So I understand, like, the thing is like, there are a lot of old games in here. So what they did was they used to put old games in PlayStation Now, PlayStation 3 games and PlayStation 4 games in here. And they changed, I forget what it was, last year or the year before, where they started putting more newer games in here, or games that were like, oh, nice game in there, and kind of putting them in there for a month or so, and you doing more of their exclusive games in there, because they did have exclusives. If you go to their collections, like in here, PlayStation, and you go PlayStation exclusives, they have a lot of old exclusives in here. They had Killzone 3. They have all the Ratchet and Clanks. They have, The Last of Us. They have Resistance 3, which I've been playing over streaming, which actually works pretty damn well. Resistance 3, I'm about like 5 missions into that. I'm going to beat that because I really want them to make another Resistance. They have the original Shadow Colossus in there, all the Infamouses in there. They have some Killzone. They got Ratchet and Clank, and they even have MotorStorm, the Apocalypse. The Uncharted. They have Knack in there. They have Ape Escape. They even have some PlayStation 2 games in there. And basically, the thing is that they started adding more of their games to PlayStation Now as they've been going on. So if you look at the latest games, and this is something that I wanted to draw attention to, because again, I think the difference between the two of them is that Xbox is going to have those launch games, and games like Octopath Traveler and the Outriders definitely break the mold and make Xbox seem more current, Xbox Game Pass seem more current, and those got to be more of the norm rather than the rare. Because I think before those games are coming out, I don't think there was a lot of stuff coming out day one that really was driving people to Game Pass. Now they kind of seem to kind of draw these couple of games in there, and that's good because that's the differentiator between the two of them. Because both of them have similar third-party games that are in here. The only thing is that PlayStation Now doesn't have EA Play in it, but EA Play is $25, $30 a year, and but I think the biggest factor here, and I know the $1 was a joke, but the thing is like PlayStation Now is $60 a year. That's the price of one game, or I got for $44 for a year, and that is a good backup plan. Like, this is not my primary way of gaming, and that's the thing that I want to make a point, that this is a good backup plan to get games that maybe you didn't think to spend on, and all of a sudden they show up in here. But this will never be my primary way of gaming. I'm never going to say, it's PlayStation Now or nothing else, because I don't believe that. I think that PlayStation Now exists as a good alternative for gaming, another option, but it doesn't compromise the fact that Sony's putting out big blockbuster hits, and they don't have to go directly into PlayStation Now and possibly compromise or adjusted or service-based or things like that are changed with the intent of knowing that the distribution platform is going to be something that has a recurring payment, because I fear that's why Halo is the Halo. It's not Halo 6. It's Halo Infinite with free-to-play multiplayer and open world, semi-open world. Let's go pick up some side missions and stuff like that. Like, that's Game Pass.
I wanted to say this. Look at a game like Destruction All-Stars. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
That game was revamped a little bit because of it being plus. The progression and just different things about that game almost turned into a free-to-play type model when it went to plus. So you can't sit here and tell me that the service that the game is a part of isn't affecting the way the game is going to be
exactly.
So because these services just don't pay enough for them to spend for them, because the dev has to put the little microtransactions and stuff like that in the game to make their money back. So there's no way you can tell me that Game Pass is not going to affect the way these games are designed going forward. Going into it, look at Gears having to pay how much was it for a kill animation? Like $8, something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
and all those skins that they charge $5-6 for, you could earn them by playing modes that you don't want to play.
But
Meanwhile,
you have
Gears
to play
4,
modes forever.
Those skins were free. Those skins were earnable. They were in Gears 4 already.
Right. This is a full price game that you can go out and pay $60 for or play it in Game Pass. You can't sit here and tell me that Game Pass didn't compromise design choices in this game. So I mean, I don't support these type of services. I think they should be supplemental, but they should be the primary way.
That's what I mean.
You consume games. And you can tell even with PSNOW, Sony is not putting PSNOW at the forefront of their, way they're trying to deliver games to you. They still would much rather you purchase games.
Yep.
And this can be a supplemental service, but it's not going to be the primary way you get games. You can see because they're not putting things in their day and date. So and they don't have.
They'll be more aggressive with PlayStation Plus with games getting
Plus
day and date than actually PlayStation Now.
Yeah, and so I don't support this stuff. I am not interested in game streaming. I don't support that either. I'm all about ownership, and I don't, this rental stuff, they can keep it. So
and exactly like you said before about DLC and stuff. Like, why would you pay DLC for a game?
Right.
But the point that I want to make about the streaming aspect of it is that I use the streaming, which is interesting because they do have the native downloads and you could download the games and stuff like that. But what's interesting is, oh shit, I'm dying here because I'm playing on a small screen. But like, what's interesting is that their games, they have basically, I use the streaming aspect of it to kind of like test it out to see if I want to download it. And I always thought that was a good way to implement streaming into consoles, was like kind of use it as like a trial period or a way to kind of like test out a game without committing bandwidth or downloading 20 gigabytes and seeing if I like it or not. Like, it's a good way of trying out stuff. And I do think that it's something that actually the Xbox console doesn't do. It does. You cannot stream Game Pass games to your console to kind of test them out like you could do on the PlayStation Now. So like this game Injustice, like say like I own it, but like I'm streaming it right now. You saw how long it took for me to stream it, right? And basically I'm just testing it out saying, oh, my saves over and all that other stuff, but I did not have to sit here and wait 20 minutes and 30 minutes to kind of like get into a game. And you could see, I'm really impressed on how much is improved though, like PlayStation Now. And I encourage everybody to try it for $1. For all the capping that goes on with Game Pass, how it's the best value in gaming, articles are being written like it's done, it's over. Like the fact that this thing, even though Sony doesn't push it, the fact that this thing exists and what's in here, and the fact that it is capable and it's actually doing things that with streaming, which Microsoft is still trying to implement, like right now with streaming to the console and in a browser and all that other stuff. But like, give it a shot, and I know you might have all the games in there and stuff like that, but again, when you're trying to get people to pay $15 a month, how would you not pay like $5 a month to try this thing out? It's freaking $5. Like, it's the price of a freaking Subway sandwich. God damn it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just for all the capping that because that's the thing, like Game Pass, the thing about Game Pass is that if you look at Game Pass, you're like, oh, it's great because it has great games day one. Well, before Octopath Traveler and the other game, it's like, well, besides Medium, I guess that was the only one that really was something, right? day one.
The Xbox gamers are not interested in these Japanese RPGs.
Well, I don't know how it got
They're-
there. It was like they didn't even hype it up again. Their
Well,
marketing
wait
and
a
management.
minute. They're not interested in buying them. They might
Maybe on a
try
rainy
it
day.
Game
That's right,
Pass, some of
Ghostface. I'm getting whoop
them.
my
They
ass.
might try it.
I'm playing on a little
Try it,
screen.
but-
That's why I'm saying, like, how do these people play? I'm playing on a little screen here. I don't know how you'll play this game streamed onto a phone.
Streaming? Oh,
God
no way.
damn it. I would never. I'm like playing it right now in a little friggin' Streamlabs OBS box, and I'm getting my ass kicked. And that's another thing with this whole, like, vision that they have. And that's why Sony, you could do PlayStation Now on PC, and you know it's on the console, like where it belongs. Microsoft's trying to put this stuff on a phone where
because they're trying to capture those 3 billion gamers or whatever.
they just want numbers, man. They want growth and they want numbers. They don't care how they get there. They don't even care if it's acceptable. Because I'll say it right now, the thing is that you I'll say it right now. Like the thing is, like you look at Gears, you look at even Bleeding Edge and all the little games. Those were on billions of devices, phones, PCs. How the hell does Bleeding Edge not have a strong enough community for them to not do more content less than a year later? This thing was on 1 billion devices, and nobody brings that up. Gears 5.
6 people playing that game.
6 people playing that game. Gears 5. Look at that game. The legs on Gears 5 was shorter than Gears 4, and Gears 5 was on everything but sliced bread. It just shows like this vision doesn't really pan out.
They didn't support Bleeding Edge at all.
Well, why wouldn't they? like why wouldn't you? It's on 1 billion devices. You have a potential market of billions of customers. Like no online game should I just don't understand how these games that are on all these platforms are not having these extra legs that they're supposed to have. Another example is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves wasn't big until it went to Steam. Like, it sat on the Windows 10 store in Game Pass. And didn't blow up until it went to Steam. Like,
I mean, mobile gamers are kind of different kinds of gamers. They don't
exactly.
play those type of games. They play the Candy Crush and the Panda Pop and the little games on their phone, the free-to-play games on their phone. They're not interested in these full-fledged gaming experiences on a mobile device. They're just not. I don't see people playing these games on their phones. They play these little free-to-play games on their phones.
But I'm just gonna say, like, that the thing is like I'm doing the PlayStation Now right now. I'm streaming it, and I'm streaming this on my PlayStation that's hooked it's in the same room as my router. I'm broadcasting this over this, and I'm telling you, it's like it works. So if you want to test it out for streaming wise, but not even streaming wise, you get a library of over 400 and something games to download natively. That's half the library. Then the only games you only could stream are the PlayStation 3 games. That's it. So like just for $5 a month or $60 a year or $44 if you get it on sale or $1, you're getting a library of over 400 games that can natively be downloaded to your console. That's over double than PlayStation than Xbox Game Pass. And the only difference, and on top of that, PlayStation Now. Hey, you want to see this? And this is again this is not just me blindly going, oh, PlayStation Now, I'm the ultimate fan. Make me T-shirts and hats. Buy my fucking paraphernalia bullshit. No, I'm showing you right now. Watch this. Let's search Call of friggin' Duty, because what are the big games that they need? Call of Duty. Let's see. This is something that I don't think anybody talks about here, is that they have Call of Duty Black Ops in place. Black Ops, what is this? Black Ops 3 in PlayStation Now. They give you Black Ops 3 and the Zombie Chronicles in PlayStation Plus collection. You want to talk about services? How can you talk about Xbox Game Pass, the future of gaming, the amount of publicity Game Pass gets and hype and stuff when you look at just PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus, and them two together is still less than Game Pass and gives you tons more games and including Call of Duties? I don't understand. Just because of day one games, just because Microsoft promised you that their games will be in Game Pass, they have yet to prove those games will be worth a damn after we see Craig. But just based on promises, Xbox Game Pass is the best of the best. Bar none, PlayStation services don't exist. Tell me how that makes sense. when you could do EA Play, PlayStation Now, and PlayStation Plus for $60. $60, that's $120. $30, $150, $30 less than Xbox Game Pass, and get the PlayStation Plus collection, over 800 games, the games that Sony's been dropping in PlayStation Plus, and the EA games. Who gives a shit about those? But you want to add value. That's $150 for those 3 services combined. In addition, if you don't give a shit about PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, this Call of Duty right here, if I'm not a PlayStation Plus member, I could download this and play this online included in my PlayStation Now. All these games in PlayStation Now, you could play the multiplayer with them without subscribing to another subscription service. That's not the same for Xbox. That's the same for Xbox on PC, but not for Xbox on console. You need Xbox Live to play Sea of Thieves, to play Gears 5, to play Gears 4, to play Master Chief Collection. So therefore, you need Ultimate, $15 a month on Game Pass. So I just don't understand. PlayStation Now, all these games. Yeah, you want sports games? Here's some sports games. You could play these stupid, some of the shit though. But you could play these old ass games online without paying for a subscription. So like, that's the thing. Like, I just don't get, how this is just deemed trash and nobody uses it. And I think also too, a lot of PlayStation guys don't want to kind of embrace this old ass games because the whole narrative has been brand new games, and that's the thing. All this shit right now, don't fucking subscribe to it. Guess what? They could cancel this shit down tomorrow. You know what that doesn't change? That doesn't change Last of Us 3, next God of War. That doesn't change those games. Shut down PlayStation Now. Who gives a shit? It doesn't do that. But tell me, if you shut down Xbox Game Pass, what happens?
It's all integrated,
It's done. It's done, Salty. I think that's Xbox now. Like, if Xbox Game Pass does not succeed, and I think that's why there's so much capping going on for it, because they know if Game Pass goes, Xbox goes with it.
Mm-hmm. Because their games weren't selling. That was the whole reason why they even created Game Pass to begin with. So, obviously,
I have Game Pass, honestly, through my Game Share buddy.
Can't see this shit.
And guess how much I play it?
Yeah.
Zero.
I have it. I have it. I did the $1 deal when you could convert your gold over to Ultimate for $1. I bought $60 two of those $60 cards, and then I paid the $1 or whatever. Man, I don't even use it. Like, I go in there and look. I don't want to play none of this stuff. Like, I don't even use it. And I'm not even renewing it whenever it runs out. And next year, I'm not even interested.
I just know that there's a lot of people that are on that same deal as you, and that I had the $1 deal or whatever. They're still on that, and there's just a lot of cap from those people that say Xbox Game Pass is the best thing. Because of course it is when you aren't paying for it, but when the rubber hits the road and you have to pay $15 a month, God forbid they raise it up to $20 a month.
Oh, Ubisoft game, that's $20.
Then you got to make that decision. Hey, is this worth my coin every month for the stuff they got in there? And honestly, I mean, Outriders is a good step, but
they need more of that.
They need more of that to be able to entice people.
To differentiate itself.
What they need. This is what they need. Honestly, this is not their first party has to be strong in order to build value in this service. Their first party has to be strong, because these third-party games, like I said, are not going to stay in there. So they're going to make these deals, and they're going to have these games rotate in and out of Game Pass. But if the first-party content isn't strong, I just don't see the value in it. I mean, and right now their first party is non-existent at this point. But what they have actually put out is extremely weak. And I'm just expecting decent games. I mean, not even like they don't have to be Last of Us 2 or God of War quality games, but give me some good games.
The problem is they know that their first party's lacking. They knew that.
Oh, Phil says it right here. I got him.
Yeah, they know that the shit is lacking. And what's funny is you talk to a lot of like Xbox extremists, and they'll swear up and down these huge games, these new first party games are right around the corner, like Perfect Dark and Avowed and what's it called? Any of the new games they've announced. But in reality, if you look into what's really happening behind the scenes, Fable doesn't even have an engine locked down. Okay, they're still
about
hiring.
Everwild, dude? They don't even know what the game is. That's the last update we got. They don't know what the game is.
Yeah,
anyway.
Hellblade 2, they don't have game to show people, right? It's just like, what are they doing over there? I mean, Game Pass will be
2.
awesome.
Yeah, right.
Game Pass will be awesome in 2023 or 2024. I mean, probably 2024, but by then, I mean, will it still be around? Because it's going to take a while to get their first party rolling, you know?
Yeah,
they delayed Halo how many times? It's just,
but that's the hype of Game Pass, is their first party, and that's the thing. Like, why is this thing being hyped right this second for potential that we have yet to see? Meanwhile, I'm doing this shit right now, and this stuff works right now, and being added stuff. They're gonna add another 5 games to this thing next week, and it's like, but this doesn't get any kind. It's like, yeah, it exists, and it just sits there, and it's a great option, and that's what it should be. But like, I just don't understand the whole like Game Pass when we still need it's untapped potential right now. And right now what they're doing, I feel like is I say the ninja move. They're just kind of throwing Shroud at Mixer, seeing if they could get a wave or momentum. And it's just like every time that momentum dies off, they're like, buy Bethesda. That momentum died off. Get Outriders in there. That momentum died off. Do something. Resident Evil maybe. Do something.
They don't know how to cultivate anything. Their solution to everything is just to buy something.
Just buy and throw it in there and see what happens. Shit against the wall. It's disrespectful. That's the thing. As a gamer, I find their approach disrespectful to gaming. I'm like, it's like my parents talking about my Nintendo, going like, oh, that Nintendo. It's like, no, I love Nintendo. I love my thing. Like, it's like adults talking about the kids' toys, like, as it's just like meaningless bullshit. And like, does Microsoft view us as just some ignorant dumbasses that just throw money at them because we just love what Phil Spencer's wearing, his shirt and shit? Or do you have to provide a quality product that I think is worth money and I should pay for? That's the thing. Like, see, PlayStation Now, for $44, shit, this is not bad. This is not bad, $44. Couple of sandwiches. You know what I mean? Like, this is not bad. For a year, yeah, fine. Give me some 5 games. I don't give a shit. But if you told me this was all Sony had, and this is all Sony's banking on, I'll be like, oh, shit, we're in trouble.
Exactly.
And yeah, exactly. We always go back to that Steve Jobs thing. But anyway, and what I think is interesting, I'm just going to show this on the stream. Like, I showed this on my last one. Like, look at this. This is Twisted Metal. And you want to see something? Watch this. This thing's running on a PlayStation 3. Here's your PlayStation overlay right here, Grinders. Like, look, here's your friends list. I can see Salty on the PlayStation 3. Here he is. Where's Salty on the PlayStation 3? He's somewhere on here. But yeah, here's your PlayStation 3, your PlayStation 3 messages. Look, you can send PlayStation 3 messages and everything like this. These are running in the cloud on PlayStation 3s. Now, if Sony's rumored, and I think Salty could cover this too, like, about, here's your old-ass trophy collection, sinking trophies. Oh my God, PlayStation 3 sinking trophies. That sucked. Yeah, I can still see it sucks. But, like, the thing is like, if they make these PlayStation 3 games downloadable, is that the end-all, be-all stuff because streaming sucks? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, people are saying that you can play, Sony's trying to make these games, like, natively played. But you want to know what? They work pretty damn well streaming so far. But, the thing is like, you really need to look at the options that you have. And remember, it's all about options and see. But I just don't understand the uncontested love that Game Pass and cloud streaming is the future just because Microsoft says it is. And there are better services, more value services. Like, hey, you want to go look. You want to talk about quantity. First off, you want to talk about Bethesda. I already did this, but I'm going to do it again because we got a new grinding audience. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Jesus. There we go. You want to see Bethesda games? Everybody made a big deal. I can't even see this goddamn little ass screen. Who could play this on a 5-inch phone? I can't even see these friggin' letters. Here's some Bethesda games. Fallout 4.
better get Digital Foundry's microscope out, dude.
I know. I need the
800
monocle.
times,
I
man.
need the friggin' monocle. Here's but that Fallout 4, Prey, Dishonored 2, Doom, Wolfenstein, Evil Within 2. Everybody was playing Evil Within 2 a couple of weeks ago. It's been in PlayStation Now. It's been here. You look, you can even download it. Ooh, and you can stream it. Evil Within 2. Oh no, let's see. Well, maybe Oblivion and all those other games. Maybe Elder Scrolls is not in here. Let's see. Bethesda. Let's see. Everybody was making crazy about Bethesda games coming to Game Pass. It's been sitting in here dying. These games.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see a friggin' L. Holy crap! I can't see shit. Who can play this on a phone? Where the frick is the L? Here's an L. Holy shit. There it is. Elder Scrolls, the Online, and Oblivion are in here. Sonic is in here. We got Sonic.
The reality is no one gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit. This is the thing. No, but they give a shit if it's an Xbox, though. Exactly. They were in here dying, dude. Yeah, I gotta pull I'm pulling the shit to my biggest screen. I can't see this shit on the fucking. Holy crap. Here we go.
Straining your retinas over there.
That's right. Here's Sonic. Look at this. Microsoft has to buy Sega, right? Because we need Sega games. We need Sega games in Game Pass. Dude, look at all these friggin' games in friggin' in Sony PlayStation Now. We got Sonic Generations, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic 2 Adventure, Sonic Adventure, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Sonic CD, Sonic Fighters, Sonic the Hedgehog 4. There's 6 goddamn Sonic games in here, but Microsoft needs to buy Sega so they can put their games in Game Pass. This is what I mean. They got to buy them. Let's spend a couple billions. We'll get Sonic in there. I was playing this trash Sonic Fighters. This is the kind of bullshit they'll put in Game Pass. Sonic Fighters. It's a fighting game with Sonic characters, but it's not a good fighting game. It's like a slap fest.
Is Persona a Sega game? Or
yeah, it is.
Wait a second. We got
something like that.
Let me get back here.
Is Persona in PlayStation Now?
No, but it's in the PS Plus collection.
PlayStation Plus collection is free in there.
I tried. I remember I tried that game. That is not my type of game.
Let's see.
But what else? What else does
RPGs,
Sega own?
I just couldn't.
It got Sega Bass Fishing. Ooh.
What does Sega own of note beside what?
Yakuza?
It's the Yakuza.
Oh yeah,
series.
everybody was going crazy over Yakuza. Let's see. Wow. We got Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5. We got Ninja Gaiden Z in PlayStation Now. So there's Yakuza's in PlayStation Now. I don't know what else. And see, it closes your game out too if you're doing this is the thing. These games that people are hyping up playing now because they're in Game Pass, they either were on sale for like $5 or they're in PlayStation Now or PlayStation. They're here. Here's Payday 2. Oh, Payday 2 is here. Remember that? PUBG. PUBG's in PlayStation Now. Oh, god damn it. Power Rangers. Payday 2. Payday 2 the golf. Dude. There are over 900 games in here. Guess what they got? Lost Planet 2. Remember that? You could play Lost Planet 2. Yay.
Wow.
NBA Playgrounds. Yeah, Lost Planet 2. I love Lost Planet. I thought that was a great franchise. That was one that Capcom owned. Prey, Puppeteers.
My backlog's so big with
I know, there's tons, dude.
Recent games that I don't have time to go back and or desire to go back and play old stuff.
And then this is the last thing I want to talk about, the PlayStation Now stuff. These are the recently added games. So recently added. So this is the difference. World War Z, Ace Combat 7, Infamous Second Son, Super Hot, Black Ops 3, Detroit Become Human, Battlegrounds, Hotline Miami 2, Darkside Genesis, Little Nightmares, Crew 2, Surviving Mars, Frostpunk, the BioShock Remastered Trilogy, Helldivers, Horizon, Wreckfest, Stranded Deep, Surge 2, Broforce, Darksiders 3, Injustice 2, Rage 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Vermintide, Steel Titans, Monster Jam, Rad, Trine 4, Medieval, Friday the 13th, 2K. That's what they added in the last 4 months. That's not bad for a friggin' $44 service.
No, it's not bad. I mean, there's some
they're not bad
in there, but
if I said it's this or nothing, dude, this is it.
Yo, honestly, Epic Game Store is giving a lot of these.
Oh, that's incredible! Free. Epic Game Store is the deal of the century right there.
That'd be awesome.
They gave out Kingdom
Dude,
Come
do they have
Deliverance.
Pain? I played
They
Pain.
gave out Rage 2, I think, for free.
Dude, where is Pain? Do they have it?
So a lot of these games that are in subscription services, they just give out. Surviving Mars is in there.
Yeah.
Dark Side, I think.
I
a
don't
lot
see
of those
Pain.
have
Pain is
gone
not in
free.
here. I don't see Pain. Wreckfest is good. But anyway, the thing is like, I'm just saying, like, to give this thing a little acknowledgement for what it is. And, you know, because people just say trash because streaming, but then tell you that they want to stream on a 5-inch phone with strap-ons and $100 controllers. But this is the thing. This thing exists. Hey, here's your prices right here. $60. Now it's not on sale. I don't recommend buying it now on sale for $60. You could find it for $44. Usually they do it in days of play, guaranteed. That's a wait to E3. They do the days of play, but like it's just on sale, $44, 20% off.
Honestly, with how good the PlayStation Plus games have been, like I've been playing those. Like I don't need you get those every month. You get like 3 games.
That's
so
over
I've been
here.
playing those. I mean, you have the PlayStation Plus collection, which more than likely they're going to be adding to that. And you can get PlayStation Plus literally on CD keys for like $28 for a year.
Exactly. Here's this, and here's the PlayStation Plus collection here. So like that's the thing. Like it's a two-pronged attack. If you look at PlayStation Now and you look at PlayStation Plus, what Sony's doing, basically they're balancing both of those to kind of attack Game Pass in that sense. And their value combined, I think, is a better value than Game Pass. As of right now, the potential in Game Pass, I think, is much more exciting than the potential of PlayStation Now, because PlayStation Now its potential is online and maybe giving some games away. And like I don't see potential there, but like Microsoft, what they could put in there, there's potential. But the hype right now to go throw $15 a month in there. You know, Oddworld, I think, is coming to PlayStation Plus again. And then if you look, here's your Now collection. And then if you look, Sony's giving away PlayStation 5 games in PlayStation Plus. Like, here, look at these games they're doing. Free monthly games. I'm telling you, man, it's pretty... Like, I think Sony is really doing well with their services right now. I think they could evolve PlayStation Now to be even better. And if they really were competitive, I think they could, you know, really push for Game Pass. But just to everybody just gushing. Everything is Game Pass or nothing else. And I think that is just... That's the narrative that people want to create. But, you know, look at what the other options are. You know, talk about options. And, you know, Game Pass is good. But the problem I have with Game Pass is that is the one-trick pony that Microsoft has. It's that or nothing. These are alternatives to the bangers that you still get. The great games, the award-winning games, the interactive things, a new next-gen controller, a new next-gen UI, like... Add all that stuff to these alternative services. Like, the thing is that to a consumer, no wonder PlayStation might hit 7.5 million. It's obvious. The thing is it's obvious that this is the better experience for next generation and for services. Like, it's obvious. Like, it's right here. Not to say that the Microsoft's bad, but the thing is that the extra effort that Microsoft is going to dominate something when they still need to figure out what the hell they want to be. Because Xbox can't be everything and be successful. You need to focus, and they have no focus. They're all over the place. And you know what? The thing is that Sony's focus is games. That's it. Simple. That's what Microsoft needs to do. Games. But every time it comes down to games, we get Craig. We get humana. Sorry, we're gonna show gameplay. Oh, we have games to show on Friday's Indie Showcase. Well, it's not everything. No release day. But hey, here's a bunch of new controllers, bitch. It's like, okay, like that you show. But when it comes to gameplay, Halo gameplay has been hidden. They talked about the music. I'm like, the music? You got to show what we saw in July fixed before you start talking about fucking music. But anyway, yo, PlayStation Now for $1. Obviously, you see it's not $1 for me. But if it's $1 for you, I'd buy that for $1 and try it out. But anyway, it's been late. The salty grinders are here. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you're new. We're doing great with the subscriptions. The Grindhouse is growing. The addendum is getting worked on. But I definitely want to thank my guests, Salty and Link. Thank you for coming on for an excellent gaming Grindhouse. Hope you like the overlay of, now I could feed my PlayStation 5 into the Grindhouse, so maybe we'll have some games and some demos and stuff like that. But, the chat was lit, man. They're going crazy. They're going wild out there, man. This Grindhouse is wild, man. They brought the beer. They're drinking the alcohol tonight. But I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. Salty, tell everybody where they could find you. I could find me there too, but hey, Salty, I want to find you.
Yeah. Twitter.com/saltiest_gaming on Twitter. YouTube Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. Saltiest Gaming Podcast, Thursday, 8 p.m.
Great. And Link, the guy who just jumps on here and talks about what grinds his gears.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really active on Twitter, or I don't have a YouTube channel. Not really interested in starting anything. So you can find me, you know, lurking and hopping on sometimes, you know, on this podcast and maybe some other ones. But thanks for the opportunity again to share my opinions. It was a really good show.
Oh, great. Yeah. And yeah, we got 2 dislikes, so it definitely was a good show. You know, we got 2 dislikes, so we know we hit a couple of hot strings there.
It's funny. It's funny though. Come my way, and then you'll see what dislikes are. Dude. Holy shit!
Yeah, when I get dislikes, you know, it's we pulled a few hot strings. Usually, it's talking you know, ill of Microsoft services, and no, actually, what I find is that you get dislikes when you actually tell people about other alternatives to Microsoft services, because again, it's tunnel vision. It's like, no, they're the best. They're the only one that does it. They're the best. No other game, no other one is better. And it's like, but then you bring up MPDs. It's like, oh, it's just about sales. And it's like, no, the MPDs are showing where the market is who wants what. You know, and Microsoft is not there. So if Game Pass was the big success, but it's not about consoles. Okay. Well, then it's about services. Here's some services that actually might do better and are cheaper alternatives. Better I hear what a great value it is. Why is it a great value? Because Halo might come to it sometime at the end of this year. Is that why it's the great value? And free-to-play multiplayer? When's that? Is that why it's the great? Oh, Fable might come to it maybe 2 years from now. Is that why Game Pass is the best value right now? So I should start paying $15 right now. So when Fable releases, I go, I got it day one. No. I'm going to hold on to my $15, and when Fable comes out, here's $15. Or maybe I'll just buy it. So I don't understand where this amazing value comes from, where it's like, it's their first party, 23 studios. Okay, well, one of them comes out. When Hellblade 2 comes out, should I start paying right now? But you start talking like that, here come the dislikes, because people don't like that. Just like when you said Google Stadia, they're like, no, xCloud, Google sucks. Oh, okay. Well, you can't just assume it sucks because Microsoft does it best, because I'll give you a list of Microsoft products that failed flat on their face, and just recently Mixer was one of them, because Microsoft doesn't know how to manage and curate content and know what the hell the consumer wants. So, tell me that. I'll give you a list as a Microsoft fan of all the shit that they screwed me with. Windows Phone, Windows Apps, UWP, Windows 10, all this bullshit, Groove Music. It all goes on and on and on. Connect. Come on. So Microsoft doesn't touch everything they touch or buy doesn't turn to gold. You know, Zoom comes out of nowhere and takes away video calling. Google Hangouts takes away video calling. Where the fuck Skype? Skype was supposed to be the bee's knees. What happened? Exactly. So keep buying up shit. We'll see what they do to Bethesda. They wipe their ass with them. But here are other options. All right? And PlayStation, there's a reason why PlayStation is doing this stuff. And the thing is that nobody's forcing you. Nobody's telling you, you got to go Game Pass. You got to get Game Pass. You got to. It's the best value. It's the best value. You got to get it. You got to. No, don't get PlayStation now. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Is it the best value in gaming? You want to know the answer? Who gives a shit? If you don't like it, don't get it. Who cares? Guess what? That's not going to ruin your gaming experience on PlayStation, because they got games coming. Exclusive games. Games that use the power of the console. Who cares? But if you say, no, I'm not getting Game Pass, or I'm going to buy my game $60, they think that you belong in an institution. What? You're not going to use Game Pass? You didn't buy Pop-Tarts? Like, come on. So anyway, hit that like button. Share out this video, grinders. We're here at the Grindhouse. I'm going to be doing some streaming. You'll catch me on Saltiest Podcast on Thursday. Thank you again. And good night, Salty Grinders. We are out.